High school football begins now on WOBL and Cool Cat Radio, the Lorain County Sports Network. Tonight kicks off week 2 of high school football around the state of Ohio, and we have 14 games in action over the weekend. Yes, I said weekend because we have a Saturday afternoon matchup that we will preview a little bit later on. But first, welcome into the pregame show brought to you by Stewart's TV and Appliance in Elyria. We will broadcast from 5 different locations across Northeast Ohio in week 2. Let's take a look at some of the other matchups. In the Southwestern Conference, 1-0 Amherst will host winless Buckeye after last week's big road victory over Sandusky, 42-16. Can the Comets' impressive rushing attack take down the Bucks in week 2, or does Buckeye bounce back with a stunning upset on the road? Winless Avon Lake hosts Lake Catholic in a non-conference matchup. The Shoremen score 22 unanswered points after trailing by 24 to Strongsville last week. The Cougars come in looking for win number 1 after getting spanked by Cardinal Mooney 41-7. Can the Shoremen offense score and keep it close early, or will Lake Catholic scratch and claw their way to a victory? Undefeated Midview hosts winless North Olmsted in Grafton. The Middies won big at home last week versus Westlake 34-14 behind quarterback Brennan Newton's 3-touchdown performance. The Eagles lost 51-17 in their home opener against Eastlake North. Will the Middies offense continue to roll, or will North Olmsted shock the world? North Ridgeville is back home after last week's tough loss at Uniontown Lake, 20-14. The Rangers will host winless Brush, who lost last week in a close game to Euclid, 14-6. North Ridgeville looks to get back to their winning ways versus the Brush Arcs. This should be a good one, so make sure you follow along. In the Lorain County 8 League, 0-1 Black River continues their start of the season on the road versus the undefeated Northwestern Huskies. The Pirates fell 34-20 to Hillsdale, but fought back after trailing 21-0. Quarterback Don Bell contributed with 3 touchdowns in the loss. The Huskies are coming off an impressive win in week 1 on the road at Crestville, 54-14. Winless Brookside is on the road versus the 1-0 Woodridge Bulldogs. The Cardinals lost in week 1, but were still able to put up some points in new head coach Bobby Stout's coaching debut. Quarterback Mason Wechter can hurt you if he has time in the pocket, accounting for 4 total touchdowns in the loss to University Schools. The Bulldogs beat Revere 25-14 on the road to open the year. The Raiders are 1-0 after last week's demolishing of Independence 56-7. The new-look triple option offense was clicking on all cylinders in the home opener. Columbia hits the road in week 2 to face a much tougher opponent in Fairview. The Warriors are 0-1 and rebuilding after losing to West Geauga 27-0. Keystone kicked off week 1 with a bang. Literally, the Wildcats recovered the opening onside kick and never looked back. Norwayne made a game of it late, but Keystone won 36-21 behind over 300 total yards of offense from Wyatt McKee. This week, the Wildcats will travel to Cloverleaf, who also won their week 1 matchup. The Colts top Buckeye in a close game 10-6 on the road. In the North Coast Conference, Elyria Catholic will host Mayfield at Dan Reeser Stadium. The Panthers were impressive in their week 1 victory over Lutheran West, 47-13. EC was led by quarterback Robbie DeRay, who accounted for 5 total touchdowns in the victory. Mayfield comes in at 1-0 after throttling Elyria 55-10 at home last week. Get your popcorn ready and don't miss a snap of this one. There's going to be fireworks from both offensive sides. And now it's time to feature our Bill Jackson Roofing Game of the Week. Remember, that's Bill Jackson Roofing, raising the roof on quality, one roof at a time. On the Cool Cat, we feature an out-of-state matchup between 2 of the nation's best high school programs. Victory number 1, and we will have it. Also happening on your YouTube channel is the Stillman Cup. Ty and Andy Stillman always make the Firelands vs. Vermilion rivalry fun, and this year should be no exception. The Falcons are 1-0 after beating Cleveland Rhodes 21-7 behind the arm of quarterback Liam Tobicash, who threw for 3 TDs in the win. The Sailors are looking for shore after a 2-hour road trip last week in the loss at Johnstown 34-14. The rivalry of the Stillman Cup continues on YouTube as Fireland travels to Vermilion. Finally, we wrap up our coverage on Saturday afternoon as Lorain travels to Elyria to take on the Pioneers. The Titans lost their season opener on the road against familiar foe Maple Heights 48-28. New head coach Jeremy Leyva is leading the program now after several years as an assistant on the Lorain sidelines, while Matt Wilson at Elyria is still looking for his first victory in season number 3. The Pioneers fell fast and early to Mayfield last week on the road 55-10. Throw the records out the window. It's a backyard brawl between these two historic programs. You can hear all the action live on WOBL beginning at 11:50 on 107.7 FM, AM 1320, and worldwide at WOBLradio.com. Don't forget, immediately following the final whistle of your game, tune into the Spitzer Auto World postgame show featuring live scores, stats, and interviews from the coaches and players live on Facebook and the radio. At Spitzer, our world revolves around you, and so does football every Friday night. Make sure to follow us on social media at X, Facebook, and YouTube at Lorain County Sports Network. Thanks to all of our partners who make Lorain County's Friday Night Lights special. Now it's time to set the scene with your local broadcast team for Week 2 of high school football in Ohio. I'm Dave Rivera, a part of Lorain County Sports Network, your home for high school football.
Good evening and welcome in as we're at Vermilion High School this evening. Max Drummond joined alongside Mark Munch Bishop as we're here for the Stillman Cup. Firelands taking on Vermilion in a rivalry that is dated back for quite some time, but really ignited roughly 10 years ago when each of the athletic directors were brothers, the Stillman brothers, and they named it the Stillman Cup.
Now, what does the cup look like, my friend? Have you seen it?
I have seen pictures of it. I haven't gotten to hold it or anything. Don't expect.
Is it like a Stanley Cup kind of thing? Is it a big bowl? Tell me about this.
It's truly the definition of a trophy, like you'd maybe see in your emojis on your phone, but it's a perfect setup. As right now going on the field is the Lorain County Visitors Bureau coin toss. So that's happening as we get ready for kickoff here. And we open the Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show. Shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance. And coming up shortly, we'll hear from a player from either squad as they were kind enough to sit down with us and give us some time ahead of this matchup. And it's one, you can feel the excitement around this rivalry, Munch.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, fans were in here shortly after 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock kickoff. And we do have the coin toss is complete. And the officials did not signal well enough for me to see. You know, usually you get one team kicking, one team receiving.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. And
we know which way they're heading.
We'll find out now. The wind is blowing straight out of the north. They go figure because we're probably only about 2 miles from Lake Erie.
Yeah,
that's usually where the wind is coming out of, sometimes out of the southeast, but the old nor'easters will get you in a big, big way. But the wind is coming nicely out of the northern part of the stadium. And you know what, man? I understand. And we said it last week at a beautiful Sandusky at the stadium, at Foundation Stadium, is that, you know, the artificial surface, not a fan, but I realize the logistics, especially in high school sports. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of colleges have money to have different facilities, okay? But in high school, what are you doing? You're playing freshman, JV, varsity football. You're playing girls and boys lacrosse, girls and boys soccer.
That's right.
So they've got quite a few sports going on, but I love seeing the natural grass, the natural turf right here in Vermilion at the stadium.
It is beautiful, and that sets the scene for our weather and field conditions, courtesy of Lorain County Clerk of Courts Tom Orlando, a proud sponsor of high school athletics. Without further ado, we will hear from each of the players that we alluded to before in the Buckeye Community Bank Players Spotlight. as we will go to that when we come back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Good evening and welcome into the Buckeye Community Bank Players Spotlight segment here in the pregame between Vermilion and Firelands. Joining us now ahead of the matchup is Falcons quarterback Liam Tobakash. Liam, it's year 3. You've been a multi-year starter at the varsity level at quarterback now, so you've obviously got to see year over year what it's been like in the preseason leading into the season. You guys come out with a win week 1. What went into this preseason and game week that you guys were able to start off on the right foot?
I think we went into this year with more of a better attitude. Not only that, but we had more guys coming in with more experience, so that helped a lot. And it was kind of like the atmosphere with the team too. Like everyone knew what the situation was, especially with the large senior class we have. So everyone knows like this is our last year. So it came in with a better attitude and a better mindset within the season. You saw it within practice, all throughout the year and all throughout the preseason, and then just putting all that work and all that sweat and stuff into the first week really helped. So yeah.
And I think you bring up a great point there with a lot of veterans on the roster, and you've been able to build up a pretty good chemistry, I imagine, with the receiving options you have around you. Who are some guys that kind of stood out early on and stood out to you as taking big step forwards this year in the receiving corps?
Yeah, honestly, I like all my guys. Like, a big name is Lucas Green. He's a really good receiver for us, but he also plays really well at DB. And then we also have Carson, Gabe DeFlippo, and of course our tight end Brett Bury. These are all just guys that I've gotten to build my chemistry with, over the years, and so yeah, they're big threats for us, and they help a lot, not only on offense but on defense as well.
Certainly, and playing the quarterback position, obviously there's a lot that comes with that. Growing up, whether it's at the college level, NFL, or maybe somebody you grew up watching at Firelands, is there a quarterback that you really liked watching or maybe emulating yourself?
There's a quarterback I like, Josh Allen. He's a pretty big quarterback that I like to watch. You know, he's able to run, he's able to pass, he's able to do pretty much whatever he wants.
And obviously he's known as a bit of a jokester, kind of a fun guy to be around, it seems like, with all his interviews. When it comes to the Firelands Falcons locker room, who would you say is the biggest jokester or class clown? It sounds negative, but you know what I mean. Who would you say that is for the Falcons?
I'd probably say either Brett Bury or Landon Thomas, one of those two.
To kind of just keep the morale up in practice and in the locker room?
Mm-hmm. They're always playing around, but once it gets to the field, they take it a lot more serious.
Definitely. And now this one, it's kind of game related, but also it's just kind of a feel. We're in Northeast Ohio. We know you play probably 4 different seasons, maybe in 2 weeks. But do you prefer the cold weather games or warm weather games out there?
Preferably the warm ones. The warm ones are always nice. That's what you call football weather. But when it starts getting a little down, like 50s and everything, I feel like those are also some nice games. Those fall games are always nice to play in. Along with some sunshine and everything. I like those games as well.
Yeah, it kind of hits that perfect stride, like end of September when the game starts, when it's light out, and then right around halftime you see that sunset. So I definitely get where you're coming from there. The last thing I want to hit with you is obviously the opponent this week, Vermilion, big rivalry there between the two schools. At what age were you kind of introduced to that? Like, when were you kind of aware of, like, okay, how big of a deal this is?
I would say probably 8th grade year when I first transferred in. Just hearing about the purple colors always being reprimanded over at Firelands, so like not to wear those. So it's pretty much as soon as I got here, you always hear about it. So just being introduced to that, and then my freshman year finally seeing it when we first played them. Yeah,
we can't wait to see how everything unfolds this year, and we're really looking forward to the matchup. So thank you for your time, and best of luck this evening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Once again, Liam Tobakash from Firelands joining us here in the pregame show. We'll be back with more after this.
Mark Munch Bishop on the Buckeye Community Bank Player Spotlight, and hand chosen by Coach Bill DiFucci of the Vermilion Sailors is Trey Colahan, a junior, 6'3", 260-pound center and nose tackle. But Trey, we want to find out about you first, okay? Mom, Dad, 3 sisters. So are you like the girls get all the all the props and things like this for the folks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest. All my sisters went to college and played sports, so, they're a big name here, and I just want to be able to be like them and kind of make my own name for myself, I guess.
Well, very, very good. Now, you're the youngest of the four. That's kind of cool. Now, I have 2 girls and 2 boys. It goes boy, girl, girl, boy. So we had a little bit of a mix-up there. But I've got to ask you this. Your dad was a football coach. So were you into football from day one?
Yeah, I mean, wherever my dad was coaching, I was there. I used to be a water boy when he coached. So, like, I've been around football for a long time.
Say this to you, too. Good-sized young fella. Do your parents, and you're home alone now because all your sisters sort of went to college. Do your parents have a hard time keeping the refrigerator stocked?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I always eating a lot because you got to be ready and keep the body fueled.
Hey, but there's always something in the fridge for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's your favorite snack and food if you're home?
Like, food for dinner, I like steak, and then for a snack, probably like chips and salsa.
You're allowed to have it, man. How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium rare, medium.
See, I'm a medium rare guy, too. I like to have a little bit of blood in there. I don't want it to the point where I put my knife in and the cow yells. You know what I mean? Hey, speaking of animals, speaking of cows, you're a big 4-H guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in FFA here, so yeah, I'm intertwined with that a lot.
I love it. I love my wife's a farm girl. Now, question for you. You were just at the Lorain County Fair showing rabbits?
I was actually at Erie County, but yeah, I was showing rabbits there.
Now, how many do you have at home? Do you have dozens of them? Because you turn around, the rabbits, from one day to the next, there's like another couple dozens running around.
Yeah, so I do like meat pens, and I bring one home this year, but we usually go out and buy from a breeder.
We're talking to Trey Callahan. This is the Buckeye Community Bank. I want to call you Callahan. Do other people make that mistake?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, because it just seems, but Callahan makes you stand out a little bit more. Now, what is your favorite subject in school?
I'd say math.
See, you know what's funny? I could never, like math and sciences, I couldn't do. And my oldest son, who was a football player, 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, he's a physicist. And I'm like, my brain doesn't work that way, But you're digging math in a big, big way. How are you doing in school? Good?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I enjoy it and have fun there.
Question for you. Does Coach like you? Do you have to, you assign seats in classes? I haven't been in high school for a few years. Or do you Coach like all you guys sitting up front?
He likes to sit up front. I mean, we don't really have assigned seats, but it's better to be up front than in the back.
Okay, well, I like that, because it shows you're participating in a big, big way. Once again, it's the Buckeye Community Bank Player Spotlight with Trey Callahan, junior center and nose tackle for the Vermilion Sailors. I know you guys are into Friday's game because I just saw on the rock outside of the stadium the Firelands logo with a slash mark through it. You didn't do that, did you?
No, that's mostly the seniors. That's their rock, and they get to paint it every week.
I got to ask you this. Only 4 seniors on the team, right? Do you feel more responsibility, coming up because you've got guys below you, too?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more responsibility. I mean, coming back as a starter last year on offense, you kind of feel like you're a leader in some way, but our 4 seniors definitely lead our team pretty good, too.
Now, speaking of motivation, do you listen to music before a game in the Dre's or the Beats, anything like that? And what do you listen to?
I'm a big rock guy before the game.
What is that?
Rock.
Like what kind of rock? Classic rock or Nirvana or the 90s?
Yeah, 90s, 80s rock.
Very, very good. Favorite band?
Probably Metallica.
Okay, dude, I'll tell you what, I've seen Metallica a few times. In fact, we did a contest years ago, the station I was with, we gave away a Harley backstage, and Metallica signed it. And Hetfield, when he coming off the bus, he's carrying his little kid, And I'm like, so this is Metallica with the really things aren't always as they seem. No, let's talk a little football, okay? Nose tackle and center. Does it behoove you? Because when you're playing nose tackle, you're right across from there, the other team's center. Does it help you play both positions because you play them both?
Yeah, I could say it definitely helps because you kind of know what their techniques are and how you can defeat it.
A question for you when we're talking about techniques and playing the line and that, do you, in a big, big way, A-gap guy, or you just bull rush the center?
Mostly bull rush unless I'm on a slant or something because I got to be able to control both of those A's.
Do you ever see things that a center does that you're up against? I'm giving you some tough questions here. And you say to yourself, when I'm a center, when the ball turns over, I'm not going to do what he just did because I'll get bum rushed?
Yeah, definitely.
What about, now I got to ask you this too, and I'm looking here. I saw that you had 12 tackles, a fumble, highest grade on offense last week. And I'm looking at some of the guys behind you on defense. Roy, 10 tackles, Kaiser, 9. Those are the linebackers right behind you. So are there times where you're holding up a couple guys so they can shoot the gaps and get in there?
Yeah, definitely. You got to be able to clog the hole and be able to let your linebackers fill up and make the tackle.
Finish this sentence, okay? This is Friday. You're playing Firelands, okay? The Vermilion Sailors tonight will.
Kick the crap out of them.
Hey, man, I asked you, and you were very, very polite. Bro, thank you so much for your time. You're a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know Mom and Dad will enjoy hearing this. Are your sisters in town? Will they come to the games?
I don't. My one might, because she graduated, but my one sister's playing volleyball down in college right now, and then the other one's down in Columbus.
Now, it's someday, because I think of Vermilion. And again, I have 2 daughters, so, and God bless them. Congrats to your sisters for being college athletes also. But I always think of Allie LaForce, okay, who was a great basketball player here, and she's just a great reporter, too, for the NBA. Someday will people be saying Vermilion High School, home of Allie LaForce and Trey Callahan?
You can only hope.
Dude, I put you on the spot a few times, but I appreciate your time, man. Thank you. Again, Trey Callahan, nose tackle center for the Vermilion Sailors, the Buckeye Community Bank Player Spotlight.
That was the Elyria Charities Incorporated National Anthem as we're back here in our Bill Jackson Roofing Game of the Week. Live on YouTube with the Lorain County Sports Network as we wrapped up the player spotlights. Big thank you to Buckeye Community Bank for helping bring us those every week. And it was quite the conversation. I want to hear more about this practice under the lights that you got to attend last night when you were talking to Trey, Munch.
Well, you know what? It was interesting. We were in the locker room because they were getting ready to come out and practice. But Coach told me that they were getting ready for a good. Now, this is the day before the game, okay? Mm-hmm. Not that much hitting going on, but they have 3-hour practices during the week under the lights quite a bit, and just to get the players acclimated. They do a lot of film study, too, and that's what they were doing right after school, giving the youngsters some things to do. But as you heard in that interview, Trey Callahan was very, very busy. He's a 4-H'er, okay, and FFA, so the bottom line is this, he deals with rabbits. Can you imagine a guy his size dealing with bunny rabbits? And he was showing them at the fair. But it's just refreshing. And, you talking to Mr. Tovacash, just, it's great to know that a young man like this, the leadership in our country is going to be in good shape someday.
Certainly are. And, yeah, Liam, one of the captains, I was out at the coin toss, our Justin C. Miller Esquire captains, and he was joined by a few other of his Falcon teammates like lineman Landon Thomas as well as tight end Brett Bury. And we expect to be calling his name a lot this evening as I believe Vermilion is getting ready to take the field here.
It's interesting because against Rhodes and the Rhodes Rams, a very good team from the Cleveland Senators. I noted, too, last year, 7 wins. Probably lose to Glenville in 2 of their non-conference games that they play. But you look at Berry, okay, you're saying, okay, 6'2", 220-pound tight end, 2 catches, 105 yards. I mean, that's nothing to do, whether it's rack or yak, usually the run after catch or yards after catch. I don't see too many tight ends going on fly patterns, so I'm sure he's breaking some tackles along the way. Hard-nosed player.
Yeah, as Firelands picked up a 21-7 win over Rhodes, like you alluded to. Vermilion trying to bounce back after losing 34-14 to Johnstown. Now, I do want to touch on one thing before we move on from Mbiri. We got to be on the field for a few minutes before the game, and he was practicing some punts. I think he may even be bigger than 6'2", 220 listing.
Dude, I got to tell you, some good-sized man for a soccer player, too, as you noted. I mean, who's going to tackle with him? But he was booming punts, getting hang time. And you know what? It was very cool. He was kicking them into the wind. And he was drilling field goals, too, from 35 yards out. So if needed, his leg will be a plus today for Firelands.
Yeah, as Landon Becker will be handling the kicking duties, Beery on the punting. So we continue on here in our Stewart's TV and Appliance pregame show. And we've kind of set the scene a little bit. Now, looking at keys to the game for tonight. Munch, what are you looking at when it's going to be deciding factor in a rivalry game like this.
Number one, you have players going both ways. For Firelands, you have 7 going both ways. For Vermilion, you have 6 going both ways. A little theory I've had years ago, and people say, well, what? You're exactly right. When I say people, these are NFL, college, big time, scouts and coaches, this and that the guys in the trenches, the 2 tackles, the guards in the center, they get hit on every play, right? The guys in the trenches on defense, they get hit on every play. And when you look at the rosters today, most of these guys both will go both ways. For Firelands, the left tackle, Alejandro Flores, he goes both ways. And the center, Andrew Sageworth, he also goes both ways. And then you look at the Vermilion Sailors, the only one that goes both ways is the captain, center, and nose tackle, Trey Colahan. So these guys are in good shape. But the bottom line is it takes a toll when you're getting hit on each and every play. Think about this, okay? Receiver doesn't get hit each and every play. Quarterback hopefully doesn't get hit each and every play.
You're doing the right job, yeah.
A running back doesn't either. But the linemen are getting hit each and every play with a big guy with snot bubbles coming out on the other side of the line.
Yeah, there's no avoiding it, and especially on a beautiful natural grass field like this, your jersey and your pants better have some grass stains on them if you're doing your job.
You know what? I would like today. And both teams have jerseys, of course, the purple and gold for Vermilion and the red and white for Firelands, is that both teams have jerseys as of now that we can read the numbers on easily. Let's hope that diminishes, because we'll know who the players are as the game goes on from some good old grass stains on the unis tonight, my friend.
We will. I can't wait for that. As you may be able to see on the banner out on the field, they did celebrate senior night tonight for all of the Sailor Fall athletics. Just 4 seniors, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some experience on this group, and that goes for both sides, honestly.
And you know what? I have to shout out both schools for the just the class, decorum, and the welcome that they're giving us for being out here tonight. Well, they rolled out the red carpet for me when I pulled up to Vermilion High School last night, and it was just phenomenal talking to Coach and all his charges. Well, Bill DiFucci, of course, and then you start going talking football. I mean, it's funny. We must have talked for 20 minutes before I got a chance to talk to Trey, and it's good stuff. And then, of course, Mr. O'Rourke on the other side. Boy, what a career he had. Gold Helmet Award winner in Lorain County for the Avon Eagles, and Mike Elder's second year. I always flash back to that first year of Mike's when he said, you know what, Munch, give me a year, and we'll start winning games. Give me 3 years, and we'll start making a lot of noise.
And he wasn't kidding. And speaking of noise, the Vermilion Sailor faithful cheering on their team as the Sailors take the field and through the banner, led by a couple of the biggest players on the team. That is for certain. In Colahan as well as Luke Richardson, as we'll get into some of the starters here in a moment to spotlight our referee crew for tonight. As they got a little bit busier in the second half of our game last week at Sandusky. We'll see how that shakes out tonight. The Ross Environmental Services referee crew rely on Ross. We do it right. Looking at the umpire this evening, that'll be Brad Hammonds. Referee duties will fall on Bruce Dernwald, as well as the line judge Brian Feeney, head linesman Ron Dunn, back judge Brian Davidson, and the center judge is going to be Earl Bargerstock.
Now, how many names did you just read to me?
6 of them.
Okay, what I want to say is this, and this is talking to some of the veteran referees in the area over the last few years. Number one, there's not enough. I know guys that do Senate games at 3 o'clock have to rush out to games like this to do double games. They're fine with that. But a few years ago, and I'll call them out if I need to, the OHSAA was being cheap and paying these guys. So people are like, no, at least give them something. I want to say that they're up to maybe $100 now a game, which is really still a bargain. But they also said, give us another referee, which they did, because referees would tell me, the kids these days, the bigger, stronger, faster, that doesn't lie. We need another ref to be able to cover them. And Vermilion will be kicking off to the Firelands Falcons.
That they will. So we'll jump into our starting lineups here, as those are brought to you every week by Garing's Tavern in Grafton. We'll quickly look at the Firelands offense. Landon Thomas, Alejandro Flores, Andrew Sigsworth, Colin Connery, and Julian Marshall, the offensive line. Looking at quarterback Liam Tobakash and his supporting cast. Brett Beery, the tight end. Gabe DiFilippo, wide receiver. Carson Lima, fellow wide receiver. And Luke Radonovich at running back.
When we look at the defense, it'll be coming out of Vermilion. They play at 3-4 across the front. Mac Mooney, Trey Colahan, and Isaac Kaiser. The linebackers, Mason Cooper, Daniel Roy, Landon Mooney, and Drake Hooks. Yeah, he's a quarterback too. Your corners are Micah Smith and Chase Jackson, and your safeties, Dawson Coates, Carter Bowley. Let's play some football, bro.
Let's do it. Gabe DiFilippo taking the LCCC opening kickoff back to around the 40, as it was a bit of a squib kick. So Vermilion will have to rely on that defense now to step up here. Pretty good starting spot for Firelands.
That was Brody Moore, the senior, with the kickoff for Vermilion.
As we jump in here, we reminisce on look over to our injury and update report. Couple to report on for Firelands this evening, as they will be without junior Nate Rowley as well as junior Pierce Finnegan. Thanks to Mars for bringing us that report, as that's going to be Tobicash looking for a path right there, and that looked like a run all the way for the senior quarterback.
Yeah, Tobicash tried to stick it in. He's not a small guy either, 6'3", 215. But I want to tell you something. If Firelands can run between the tackles, it'll be something. Because watching Vermilion in practice and watching them line up for that first play, they're 3 across. They play the 3-4, as I noticed. Mooney, Callahan, and Kaiser, they are packed in. They are between it's like guard, center, guard. Now, the right side, Mooney has split out a little bit more, but they're down there in the 4-point stance ready to rush.
And they asked them to do a lot. We'll see what they have in store here. 2nd down and 8 as a shift happened. Then they'll give it to Beery on a bit of a shovel pass forward, and he's going to try to get outside. Gets to the left hash and maybe a gain of a couple.
And you know what I'd just love to see? Andrew Sigsworth, the center, 5'11", 205 for Firelands, going up against Trey Callahan, 6'3", 260-pound nose tackle. And here's what's interesting. Callahan also plays defense as well as Sigsworth, so they both are plying their trade in there in a big way.
They better get used to each other and seeing each other throughout the evening. Firelands faced with their first 3rd down here of the evening, as they'll try to move the chains. They'll have to get past midfield to do so. 5 wide. So now Tobicash will set up. Could be a possible blitz coming in from Vermilion. They'll send it.
Oh, right up the gut.
Woo, but he finds his tight end Bury, who's going to fight forward and shows exactly why he put up the numbers he did in week 1.
Oh, my golly. Tobicash to get that pass off. You know what? When you see the guy coming, I got to tell you something, man. You know you're going to get hit. He stood there. He stood tall. He stood firm. And it was just a brilliant job, because the blitz came fast and fury that time out of the Vermilion defense.
I think Daniel Roy, he wasn't hiding it either.
Daniel Roy, like I said, was able to tell what the kid had for lunch, smelled it on his breath. That's how fast he got in there.
So we got 2 Falcons to the right of Tobicash. Will hand to Radonovich, and he's met right away. Who else? Callahan tackles him.
Callahan just shed the center that time. He actually went to the A-gap on the right side of the center to get it done. Almost played a 3 technique, was on the outside shoulder with an offensive lineman. I don't want to get too, sports geeky or technical, but that's what he was doing that time and just shot it. I've asked him more times than yesterday when I got the chance with him, do you bull rush the center most of the time or go to the gaps? And I could tell he didn't want to give him any secrets, so he said bull rush the center. But he gapped it that time, my friend.
Keep it close to the vest, and I have a feeling we'll see him do a little bit of everything here. Radonovich will get it again, but he's met this time. That's going to be Daniel Roy. He's not shy about putting his face in the fire.
And you know what I like about Roy, too? How do you get a guy down? Well, you get him high. Sometimes they'll shake you off. Even around the waist, they'll shake you off. Get him around the ankles, and bang, they're going down. It's like chopping a tree, like chopping wood, my friend. Call him George Washington.
He's just got to keep at it, as it'll bring up 3rd and 11. Tobicash will approach.
And Brewery now in the slot to the right.
We'll keep
4
an eye
wide.
on him. He's got hooks on him, man on man. They'll look to the top of your screen. That's going to be a deep ball, 50-50, and it's brought in. That's going to be Carson Lima hauling that in for a huge first down.
Oh, my. Lima, 1 catch last week, 6 foot, 185 pounds, and he was covered as good as you can cover a receiver. What happened? Well, Tobicash that time threw it to his back shoulder.
24 yards is the official total on that one. That's a huge chain mover. That will be... We'll look back on that one
so
later
2
in the
conversions
game.
On 3rd down for Tobicash. That is special. Ryan O'Rourke, a quarterback himself, knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, he's got to be loving that. As under 8.5 to go here in the opening quarter. Radonovich, he gets in, is able to slip through and up the gut there for a nice 5-yard gain.
Little trap that time by Andrew Sigsworth. Took a step back as he snapped the ball, and wham, just hit the right side of the defensive end coming in.
And that is so much easier said than done when you got to handle both of those.
You're right. So it sounds simple. Oh, it's just a trap, where it's a pull or it's a counter. No, you've got to move quickly, and then get to your guy in a hurry.
Especially when you're the one snapping it, and Tobicash would come and have some words if the snap was a little off, but it was on point.
Like what I'm seeing, too, now out of Firelands, Gabe DiFilippo, basically the 3rd wide receivers in the game now, flanked way right like a load cement.
We'll see. He might be a lead blocker. Here's the ball. It pops out of the hands that time of Max Brown, and Vermilion jumps on it. Sailor ball.
Oh, my. He swallowed it up like a hungry dog on a bone.
What a huge game-changing play.
Looks like Dawson Coates was the one young man that came up with that ball.
Man,
Number 12.
oh, man.
We'll watch it again. I don't know if the ball was popped out or the running back just didn't get a good handle.
Yeah,
on
it looked like it just kind of popped out after getting a hand on it. But yeah, tough to tell between Coates and I believe Carter Boley also jumping out of the pile.
Yes, he was.
So we'll reset now.
Now, I always like after a turnover that you strike quickly, you go for a big play.
As Hooks will get the snap, and he's going to give it to Kaiser along the right side, so they'll establish that ground game. We'll see if they're setting something up, though, like you alluded to.
Interesting to note, too, the wide receiver went in motion and actually turned into the line to block. That's not a very big man wide receiver taking on one of those Firelands defenders.
So he needs all that momentum he can build up. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 here. Coming at you here from Vermilion High School at the Born Implement broadcast booth, your farming equipment expert since 1965. That's bornimplement.com.
Just 2 wideouts, which means what? They've got 7 people on the line to block.
We have the officials stopping the game for a moment. I think they had to swap out a football, so now we're ready to go. 7 minutes on a running clock.
Roy, the tight end, is on the left side of the line. They're going to run behind him.
Kaiser gets it again and finds a gap through, and he's going to get a 1st down after being clipped by Lucas Green.
Boy, I got to give a shout out that time, too. Looked like Chase Jackson came over with a nice block. Running the football with authority over the left side of their line. That's Luke Richardson and Bear Benish. And, of course, Trey Colahan, the captain of center.
4 of the 5 guys on that offensive line weighing 220 or more. So they've got some beef up there.
But Bear Benish has a nickname to go with. It's 175 pounds, my friend.
As he'll try to keep up with everybody else on that line. Now this time they'll give it to Jackson on one of those sweeps. Instead of using him as a blocker, he finds a way through, breaks a couple tackles.
Saw a flag caught. There's going to be a hold out there, my friend.
That's what happens. Sometimes trying to go east-west, you're asking.
Drake Cooks immediately went to the referee and did the old, what, us? But that flag came out quickly, so the ref didn't hesitate. He saw it and threw the flag.
So we'll go to the field for our Ross Environmental Services referee crew, and there's the signal. Yep, that'll be holding.
Okay, Dawson Coates just checked in. He's a backup quarterback, but he also plays wide receiver. Last week, Coates threw a pass on a double pass. He was out for that flanker screen, caught the ball, turned to run, stopped, and hurled it downfield for a 29-yard gain.
And that's such a fun play, but it just comes down. You got to put on your best Hollywood performance.
Oh yeah, you got to sucker him in. You got to lure him in. Like landing that big fish.
So now they'll come out under center I formation. That'll be Landon Mooney at the tailback spot. He'll get it on a pitch over on the top of your screen, follows Kaiser, and then cuts his way through almost back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Mooney got about, 7 on that one. Nice little run to the right side. Ordinarily, 7 will be a nice run. 1st and 20, well, you're chewing away a little bit.
As they try to take some pressure off of Drake Hooks in that passing game.
Are they saying he got third? Okay. They're saying he only got 3 on that. I thought he got many more than that, my friend.
Oh, I guess depending on where the holding was.
Oh, now they're giving him 7, yeah.
So now it'll bring up a 2nd and 13, just under 5.5 minutes to go on a running first quarter clock. Vermilion's first possession on offense. They'll go to the air here, and that's just over the head of a Falcon. It's hauled in by Micah Smith.
Boy, Smith, 2 catches for 10 yards and a touchdown last week against Johnstown. Wow, both teams are ready now. We saw Firelands with Liam Tobacash convert 2 third downs for first downs. Now, big conversion that is 2nd and 13, but when you're converting with 13 yards to go, that's something. And I just noticed, too, the flag is at half-mast today at Vermilion High School at the stadium here.
I've seen reports online in honor of Dolly Parton.
Special woman.
That she was, and that'll be run up the gut by Kaiser.
Well, I like Kaiser. Just put his head down, put it in the meat grinder, and just keeps churning. And that was over right guard that time. Rob White, 5 of a 5'5", 220-pound junior. That's a fire plug, my friend. I like that.
No other word to describe him.
If you heard me do a double take on that, I go, what? Yeah, that's just a keg of dynamite there at 5'5", 220.
Hate to see him come around the edge. And as for Kaiser, he's got a mean streak to him as well. I got to see some footage online. Mark Perez Kraiwani, one of the beat writers in the area, he got footage of him running during their scrimmage earlier in the fall here, and he is a mean runner. He's trying to show it off again here.
Boy, great tackle that time. 16 was there to meet him in a big, big way for Firelands.
It looks like he's going to be just a yard short, so they'll give him about 4 on that one.
That was Liam Tobakesh. Boy, they got Liam out there playing defense. Whew. Although, was that Hayden? Was that 15?
That could be Hayden.
I bet you that was Hayden on the tackle. Wrapped him up nicely.
And they're just going to go for a QB sneak right here. Drake Hooks puts the shoulders down and says, take me there, Callahan. Take me to that first down.
And that's exactly who he ran behind. Bear Benish was there, too. Kind of went to the one hole to get it done.
So that's a Dickon Dovin and Reber Jones Funeral and Cremation Center first down.
Chase Jackson just checks in, 5'9", 108-pound junior slot receiver. Boy, a lot of fun, a lot of action early on, even though no scoring with 3:27 left in the first.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Firelands got the ball first, was able to drive a good chunk of the way down the field, almost 75% of the way there, and then a fumble ended their opening drive. So now the Sailors are trying to take advantage.
Micah Smith, the lonesome end, way to the left.
There goes Jackson in motion. They'll fake it to him. It goes to Kaiser. Gets off of an arm tackle, dragging Falcons for another first down.
Boy, Kaiser is tough. I got to give a shout-out, too, though. Landon Thomas, the nose tackle. He pursued. He was hit for either side and went and got him from behind to slow him down for the other defenders. Carson Lima was also in on that tackle.
And worth noting, he's one of those two-way players you were talking about. So when he's on offense
Lima.
next drive, they're going to be feeling it. David Plott, the receiver, will bring the play into the huddle, and they'll break here as they come out in the pistol formation. Yeah, Kaiser in a wing over to the left, Daniel Roy at that tight end spot.
The Kaiser runs hard, didn't he?
And they'll go that way. That's going to be Landon Mooney cutting through, and yeah, I'm not going to call him a change of pace back, but nearly 30 pounds lighter. He's got a little more probably burst to him.
I'm noticing, too, the blocking of Vermilion is concentrating on negating the 3-down linemen for Firelands, letting the linebackers do the work. But the running backs right now, Vermilion, look confident that, hey, I'll lower my shoulder into these linebackers and punish them, and they'll have to get a couple of mates to help me out.
And they've had to do that. They're going to have to rely on some rallying to the ball here this evening. 2 minutes to go now. It's back to Kaiser this time. Goes right side, and he's upended. Right there, brought down that time by Gabe DiFilippo.
Yeah, good tackle that time by DiFilippo.
So that run will enter them into the Kennedy Sports Cycles red zone since 1961. They're still doing motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, and more the right way.
David Plott seems to be the messenger wide receiver, one of them today, bringing in the plays from the sideline. Interesting because you don't see that much where you see the signals from the sideline right to the quarterback.
Well, last week the wristband.
Actually running in those receivers there with the plays. They used to do with the guard, called it a messenger guard years ago.
So we'll see a motion, and this time it'll go to Dawson Coates. He finds a lane, and he runs it in from 13 yards out. Dawson Coates gets the first score on the board this evening.
Boy, what a great play. And the left side of the line just blocked back, blocked down, and gave him that crease to get through. Dawson Coates doing his thing in a big, big way. And, you know, when you look at Dawson Coates, he's basically a slot receiver. He gets the first touchdown of the game from 13 yards out.
That he does, and it's also another $5 going to the Friendship APL, thanks to Jamie's Carpet Shop. So the extra point is up and good from Brody Morrow, and Vermilion, the hosting Sailors, up 7-0 here in the Stillman Cup. 1:21 to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back after this short break. back here at Vermilion High School. And like you said just now, that was a really fun drive to watch.
Just a fun drive, doing a lot of things, running between the guards, doing some sweeps, doing some end arounds, passing the football, doing just a potpourri, just everything they could do, they being Vermilion offense, to keep the Firelands defense off center, to keep them, off balance, not on their heels, not sure what's coming at them.
And they executed it to perfection, and that's honestly what Firelands was able to do a little bit to start their first drive until they were met with a fumble on a jet sweep, if you will, and it led to an Elyria Jewelers and Repair turnover. So now we'll see how Firelands chooses to respond here, how aggressive they get as they'll
start on their 35 because of the kick going out of bounds.
And interestingly enough, they still had better field position last time for their first drive. So still an average start of the 37-yard line. You'll take that if you're head coach Ryan O'Rourke.
Looks like Trenton Garcia is now in a nose tackle, giving Trey Colohan a little blow.
But Isaac Kaiser, he's still over there at his edge spot. So Tovacash, nobody in the backfield with him. He'll turn, looks upfield immediately, and they're going to throw a deep ball once again to Lima. And he's looking for a whistle, but
David Plott with great coverage out there. Plott not one of the starters, but seeing substantial playing time early in this game. Mason Cooper comes over to dap him, and it'll be second down.
Yeah, and that's with only 3 down linemen, that's the versatility they can get from the back end of their defense, as we'll possibly see him at safety and corner this evening.
Garcia, 6', 230-pound junior.
He had 2 tackles in their Week 1 defeat to Johnstown. So now Radonovich will set up left of his quarterback, Tobacash. They'll give to him on a bit of a counter play. It opens up the middle, and he's knifing through, bounces off some Sailor defenders, and he'll get a first down.
Boy, he was tackled back at the 43-yard line where thought he was tackled, but no, he bounced up for 6 yards after that first contact.
Bit of a bowling ball kind of run, and at 5'9", 190, it reminds me a little bit of the guy we saw last week in Ethan Lane from Amherst.
Oh,
Low center of gravity.
Ethan, the train Lane.
Yeah.
He was our player of the week.
That's right. It's going to be tough to top that performance and that nickname as we go on here this season. Only in Week 2 of high school football. And, Week 0 of college football starts tomorrow. It's a great time here this season. So Tobacash rolls out left. He's looking downfield, across the body. He's got a man. That's Lucas Green catching it at the 20. And he's not going to be caught. Touchdown Falcons in an instant.
Come see us at Jamie's Carpet Shop and get floored.
51-yard touchdown pass with 34 seconds left in the first quarter. Oh, my, that was beautiful.
And we'll see it here in a moment. He's rolling left, across the body throw. We're going to see how he slips behind the defense here. And, just beats his man one-on-one and takes it to the house. My, oh, my.
Boy, Lucas Green was not going to be caught, and Tobacash threw a beautiful ball. And I'm glad you noted that, too. Going against your body is not an easy thing to do, my friend.
And we'll see
they're going to go for 2.
Potential fake look.
Look at this. I like what I'm seeing.
And we have an extra Falcon running on the field late. So after his touchdown catch and run, Lucas Green will be the holder here. Snap is back. Kick is up. High arc to it. And it's through as Caleb Crawford knocks it through.
It's interesting because Caleb Crawford, who's usually not their kicker, is Landon Becker.
Yeah, who made all of his PATs a week ago. So with the game tied up at 7:34 seconds to go, we'll keep it here as we get ready for this Vermilion drive. So I wouldn't say it was a slow start to the game, but both teams were kind of feeling each other out like in a 12-round fight. And then to end the first quarter, both exploded to big touchdowns.
And that was not a long drive. It was a 3-play drive. But here's what Firelands just did. They responded. They answered. And boy, Vermilion ground them out. Driving down the field for that touchdown. Of course, the 13-yard run by Dawson Coates. And bang, they just said, you know what? We're going to answer you. You come back and answer. That's big, too. It fires up the defense also that the offense, went down and put up a score. Now, our turn to stop them and give them the ball back.
Well, now, I'm excited to see now. Does Vermilion respond to that with trying to make it a track meet, or do they keep it at their pace? We know they like to be in control.
Oh, you know what? If Vermilion can keep grinding on them, running the clock is your friend, keep their offense off the field, that's a good thing. I look for Vermilion to do the same thing they did on that first drive.
We'll see.
And I don't have a pipeline down there to coach Bill DiFucci, but I'm just saying, to me, that's very, very smart football.
And that identity, too, it matches what they like.
The ground and pound.
So we'll see if Firelands can get a response and find something to slow them down. This will be a bit of a pooch kick, and that'll go out of bounds. So back-to-back kicks. Oh, and we've got some chippiness going on. This is a rivalry game. Let's keep that in mind.
And who was getting chippy out there?
I believe that's going to be Marshall Flew, and then none other than Lucas Green.
Yeah, Lucas Green was over there to her saying, I just scored a touchdown, man. I'm going to block you now.
Yeah, it's Marshall Flew. He wasn't having any of it for the Sailors.
It's almost like I got you, sucker. No flag, though. Boys will be boys, right?
That they will, and that'll be another thing to watch throughout this Stillman Cup, which has been in place since 2015 when each of the Stillman brothers were officially athletic directors at their respective schools. We'll see how tight the whistle is kept today. So Drake Hooks.
Josh Vale, 61, checks in here now for the Vermilion, for Firelands on the line.
High snap, and Hooks is just forced to fall on that one.
Boy, Coach just did the smart thing. Don't try to run with them. Don't try to pick it up. Just fall on it and keep the football. Because he had pursuit in a hurry, my friend. Number 15, Hayden Tobakash, was in there, right Johnny on the spot.
As we're down to 13 seconds, we'll see if they choose to run another play after a loss of 6.
They're going to have the wind on their back. And think about this, too. As good as Tobakash is passing, he had the wind on his back on that pass.
There's a big help there as they will not run a play. So that'll bring an end to the first quarter here in our Bill Jackson Roofing Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. We're all tied up at 7 here in the Stillman Cup between Vermilion and Firelands. Welcome back to our Lorain County Sports Network Game of the Week here on YouTube. Just want to remind you while you're here, give us a like and subscribe. You may have to make an account to do so, but I promise it's free, doesn't sign you up for anything, just supports coverage of high school athletics here in the county. Max Drummond alongside Mark Munch Bishop, Corey Lozier, and Mike Allison.
Great shout out to the Lorain County Sports Network, too.
As we'll have a stoppage there. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Legal motion is called, so that'll back him up even further. It was already a 2nd and 16.
Interesting, too, because a crossing pattern between Dawson Coates and David Plott that time.
So got to imagine they'll look back down the field here in a 2nd and 21. Though it is a tie game, and we've seen these two teams, they can play with each other so far. They can go back and forth.
That wind that was coming out of the north steadily has pretty much died down. Old Glory on the flagpole at half-mast, kind of just hanging there now.
It's a great point as we'll see how that affects Hooks here in his confidence. Senior captain. So he'll send Mooney in motion, rolls right, then he looks back left. They've got a screen set up for Kaiser, but he gets around one Falcon. He's got a lead blocker who lays a pancake, and he's close to the first down. We'll see if they give it to him.
What a great block out there. What a great fake, too, by Drake Hooks, the captain. And basically, you try to tackle him high, the Firelands player, he shook him right off.
So they get from the 24 to the 45. That looks like it'll be enough for a first down.
Wow, and with a big, big second down. Was it 2nd and 21?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it was exactly that. It's Luke Richardson leading the way there, the big left tackle.
You say big, 6'7", 285 pounds.
That's the last guy you want to see running at you in the open field, man.
I asked linemen a lot what happens when you pull or you counter and there's a cornerback out there because your eyes get as big as silver dollars.
And speaking of Mooney, he's found a lane, cutting through the Falcons defense. He breaks 2 more tackles. He's at the 30. The 25 drag down inside the 15.
Oh, my gosh.
Woo.
Mooney was doing some ballerina steps in there to step out of tackles. He was amazing on that. And who are we talking about? Landon Mooney, the running back, 5'8", 165-pound sophomore.
Gabe DiFilippo saves a touchdown on that one.
40-yard run. Ooh. Just over the right side of the line. He ran that behind Colohan and Rob White, and Trenton Garcia helped out too.
And Mooney, he's the guy that ran for over 100 a week ago. And hasn't been the lead back tonight, but that run gives him the most of any yardage for a Sailor this evening. Now they'll try to go back to Kaiser, the bruiser of the two.
He might have gotten 2 tops. Great pursuit by the entire Firelands defense. I'll tell you, 55 was there in a hurry. Or was it 65, Andrew Sigsworth? Yes.
As we mentioned, we'll be seeing him a lot on both sides of the trenches. Now, this has been a very competitive game to this point. We expect it throughout. Just keep in mind, last season, Vermilion, they won with this strategy as they ran all over the Falcons en route to a 42-12 win in 2025.
2nd and 9 from the 10.
Quick screen out left. That's hauled in and received that time. That's going to be Dawson Coates as he tries. He got the end zone once already. He's trying to get back again.
He had to get to the 1-yard line for a 1st and goal. That would be punishing to have 4 downs from the 1-yard line. They're going to be a little short. They're calling it 3rd and 1. I'm calling it 3rd and, oh my gosh, maybe the length of the football.
So they'll hurry to the line. We saw what they did last time, and Drake Hooks leaves no mystery to it as he's going to try to bulldoze his way ahead. And, I mean, we're seeing touchdown signs from the Sailors and now the officials.
Drake Hooks' 1-yard run at 9:33 of the 2nd.
Come see us at Jamie's Carpet Shop and get floored.
And a big thank you once again to Jamie's Carpet Shop and their contributions all season long. So what turned into trying to get just a 1st down ends up as a touchdown for Hooks. His 2nd total touchdown of the season to go with his passing touchdown he had a week ago.
But Vermilion was running their style, and they were just breaking tackles, and big holes were opening up.
That they were, and that'll be up and good for Brody Morrow. Extra point number 2. As when we come back, we'll break down that scoring drive summary courtesy of Valley Chevrolet here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in a 14-7 ball game on the Lorain County Sports Network Game of the Week. It's the Stillman Cup. We'll get into some of the stats of this rivalry in a little bit, but right now, Firelands looking to respond after a great scoring drive from the Sailors as Lucas Green trying to make a little bit happen.
You know, it's interesting to note because after that drive, I saw Rob White, Trenton Garcia, and Luke Richardson, 3 of the 5 offensive linemen, kind of chest bumping on the sideline as they should. They open mammoth holes, but the running backs did a great job too getting through them.
And this is a team that, they had high expectations for themselves coming into the season after a great back-to-back 2 years for them. And they were even up 14-0 against Johnstown last week. So they wanted to come back into this game and bounce back, get that record back up to 500. And you can tell they have a little bit of attitude about it, too.
I like outside linebacker just before Firelands came on the field, Mason Cooper pointing to some positions on the field where he wanted the guys to line up.
He's lined up at the top of the defensive box there as they're going to hand it to Radanovic, who goes past everybody, just sneaking through at his 5'9" stature. And we've seen that be a real advantage for him, 11 yards on the first play.
Great hit to slow him down. I call it, since it's Vermilion Sailors, we'll call it the anchor theory. You hold on to a guy, even if he got by you just hold on to his jersey because he can't run it fast with some player grabbing onto him as he's pulling him along the ground.
And the beauty of an anchor, it may take a little bit more time than you like, but it eventually will stop whatever it's attached to.
You'll slow him down, I guarantee you that. Boy, press coverage by the defensive cornerbacks.
As they're going to test it here as Tobicash goes up top. He might have, just beyond his intended target of Lima. We've seen him connect already once with Carson Lima.
Yeah, Lima was covered just brilliantly that time, step for step, with the outside cornerback on that side of the field.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. And
I believe that's Micah Smith. It exactly is. Micah had him blanketed at that time.
And that's what we immediately stood out when we got the 2-deep over from Coach DeFucci is they load the box, and then their secondary has to do a lot on the island. Right now you're going to see the linebackers kind of extend out a little bit, but a lot of one-on-one.
And Micah Smith, another one of those two-way players.
So Lucas Green was the motion man. He'll get it on a quick pass, tries to escape past one, extends the ball forward, but they're going to say the knee was down.
Yeah, Lucas Green with that catch. Well, got maybe 4 yards. It should be 3rd and 6. We'll see. That's exactly what it is, 3rd and 6 for the Falcons from Firelands.
Well, and you can see in the play design and the way they run this offense, it has a former quarterback, coach will work all over it because you have easy setup passes like that, but then they're also not afraid to take the top off the defense.
Watch Preston Kirshner, the slot receiver right now, 24, to the near side of the field.
There's a little shift. So Beery steps up in the wingback spot. Hayden Tobicash was the tight end at the top of your screen. We'll give to Beery. Lead blocking is Radanovic. He cuts it outside, plunges ahead. Clock will stay running, and he may be a yard or so short.
He got maybe 4.5, 5, but he's going to be yards short. Interesting to note, on their side of the field, their side being Firelands, I believe they're going to go for it on 4th and 2. My gosh. That's a risky chance. And no, now I see Tobicash coming off the field. They're going to punt, which is really you need to do back there. 4th and 2, pinning their ears back would be the Vermilion defensive line. Now, try to pin him down, but again, now he's punting into what little wind there is.
As it's just under 8 minutes gone, just under 4 minutes gone here in the second quarter. So Beery will get it, who is on the receiving end of that last play, punts it. And Smith will come under it at around the 15-yard line. He's got some blocks. He's heading towards us on the near side of the field, cutting across midfield. He's got a lane. Did he stay in bounds? They'll say he did. He's at the 10. 5 touchdown Sailors.
56-yard punt return. Micah Smith, lightning in a bottle, my friend. Oh, my, for him to tightrope. Usually on a punt return, you got to stick it up in the middle and then cut it to the sideline. He took off immediately. What field vision, too, for Micah Smith to see the holes. 56-yard punt return.
A mad dash indeed.
Come see us at Jamie's Carpet Shop and get floored.
So we've got I believe our first special teams touchdown of the season here on LCSN. Makes it 20-7 Vermilion. We'll see. I'm looking forward to see if they do ever go for that 2-point conversion out of this setup. Oh, the snap will go way left. That's going to be Moody. He gets it and barrels in. The 2-point conversion's good.
Oh, my.
So with that, it's 22-7 in favor of the Sailors here in their home opener in the Stillman Cup. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the Falcons can respond. Back here at the Stillman Cup, live from Vermilion High School. And it just seems like a few minutes ago it was 7-7, and now Vermilion up 22-7.
Well, you strike like lightning. That's exactly what Vermilion is doing on that huge punt return by Micah Smith. We'll get the yardage for you sooner than later.
Lucas Green will be on the receiving end, and he's got a point to try to make. He gets up to the 39.
And Max, we just got the official word for our friends in the next booth over. 88-yard punt return. How I said 56, I don't have any idea. I don't count as high as 88, okay? That was the problem. But, my golly, Micah Smith just, I guess, striking like lightning. And then you get the 2-point conversion on a ball that should have been smothered, and it wasn't. And who got it?
A brilliant snap as the long snapper. I mean, it's always incredible the way he angled that almost. I'd say that's a 45-degree angle you have to snap that at. I don't know. Geometry wasn't my strong suit. Math isn't the number one.
This is usually me both, and they paired us together. But now, huge drive for Firelands.
So they'll give the Toba catch right up the gut here as he keeps it. And he'll rush his way forward.
Somebody was on his had him on the ankles and wasn't going to let go.
So they'll officially give him 8 there. And
I think that was Mason Cooper, the outside linebacker.
And, during our Buckeye Community Bank player spotlight, Toba Cash, he likened his favorite quarterback play to Josh Allen.
That's a big boy, too, that can run.
Of his running ability, and he gets to show off a little bit of it there. He'll do it again as he's going to try to follow the interior of that line. That looked like, Landon Mooney was all over him, but not before Falcons first down.
Mooney going for the ankles again to slow the big man down. 1st and 10, a huge first down for the Firelands Falcons. Ball on, I say, their own 49-yard line. It certainly is. Scoreboard operator must be patched into it because they had it on the 47 and then they moved it to the 49.
They're ready as Cliff German and all the folks here at Vermilion. Very warm welcome when we arrived, and I can't thank them enough.
And you mentioned the Stillman Cup because Andrew Stillman is the athletic director of Vermilion, Ty Stillman, the athletic director of Firelands.
As they've ignited what was already a rivalry, but it really, I think, it energized it. Since 2000, it's almost dead even on these records. Vermilion is 14-12 against Firelands over that time. So obviously Firelands 12-14. That's as close as you can get to 500 as you can.
I see exactly what's happening is that the down linemen for Vermilion are occupying the offensive linemen of Firelands, and the linebackers coming up making the tackles.
Well, they've got 2 running backs. They'll give to Radonovich there, and he's able to escape past a few Sailors. I think that's another first down. It looks like they're stealing a couple pages out of that Vermilion philosophy.
Yeah, they're coming right at him. If they want to use the clock as much as possible, go down at halftime just 1 score. Interesting to note, too, that Trenton Garcia has been playing nose tackle a bit more than Trey Callahan here in the first half for Vermilion.
As we know, they can't be afraid to rotate up there with how much they expect from them. So now 1st down and 10 here at the 40. Tobacash will roll right. We've seen him in his comfort zone when he's on the run. And right there, a beautiful throw. And let's see, they're going to rule that a catch there.
Yeah, it had to be. And, that was perfect. The only way it could have been thrown is no DB can get it a little bit off the field. But Caleb Crawford, I'm certain, kept his feet in and bang, tucked it in for a first down.
So Crawford picks up 17. His first catch of the season.
You know what I like when we have our depth chart there, and you have Crawford, who is the 4th wide receiver. But you know what? Depth is so important, and I guarantee the kids wouldn't be out there if they can't catch the football. Crawford just demonstrated that.
That's right, and like you mentioned, Lucas Green also a factor. He's on the sideline right now, probably need a little bit of rest after some of the big plays that happened. So we've got a stoppage here, official on the bottom of your screen.
I believe we have either legal formation or offside by the wide receiver that was out there. They're just young high school kids playing this game. Don't like to give too many names and numbers out if it's a penalty. But there was.
Plus, with it being week 2, this is still an area where you're honing a lot of what you want to do.
On the left side of that offense, you have Preston Kirshner and Jonah Weber now.
As we continue to see
Next
more
it's Carson Lima. My apologies.
Receivers work in. Tobacash going to keep it this time, but even despite the 1st and 15, Vermilion was ready.
Well, they thought they were going to go over their right side, and their right side is pretty dang good when you look at Julian Marshall, 6 foot 270. Colin Conroy, 6'1", only 195. But, boy, he's wiry, he's strong, but that got stoned in a hurry, my friend.
And I think it was Garcia he talked about. And yeah, that's a mean front they're going against, even if they have the size advantage at times.
Now they split the down three again. Vermilion and a 3-4. Those down three linemen are split big time.
Snap is back. Tobicash looking for a man. That'll be Bury catching it and galloping over the middle, stiff-arming his way ahead, and this will be a third and very manageable now.
Yeah, it should be third. I want to say 5 or 6. We'll see here as the word comes. Wow, he got another extra yard there just by his fight. 3rd and 4.
I think they'll give him officially 11, his third time touching the ball already. And honestly, I don't know if that's enough. I mean, you see him in open space there, and he's so natural in sitting down in the zone, in between the zone coverages.
You know, looking on the Vermilion bench, and Colohan is standing on the sideline. You thought that maybe that with Garcia in for him, there's nothing more than just saving some wear and tear on his body.
Low snap there, and Tobicash able to corral it. He's rolling left, and he's able to dump it off, but through the hands of Crawford. So that'll bring up a crucial 4th down. But look at that, Tobicash right over there to high-five and pat him on the head and say, we got to get to the next play.
Yeah, Caleb Crawford, 5'9", 175-pound senior, just couldn't haul it in.
Now it looks like we're going to see Becker head out there.
I like
kicker.
this, my friend. Now, we saw that field goal that we didn't think was going to happen from the young woman with Sandusky last year.
That's right.
Last week she put the 28-yarder through. This one's going to be a bit farther. This will be a 35-yard field goal.
So 2:54 to go here until halftime. It's going to be Caleb Crawford on the hold, and we have got timeout, Ryan O'Rourke, and the Falcons. All timeouts this season brought to you by Pavement Maintenance of Ohio. That's PMOH. Check them out on Facebook. They actually just redid the Lorain Titans parking lot over at their stadium.
How cool is that? Taking care of the good people in Lorain County. You know, right now, if you're Drake Hooks, you want to make sure that this field goal gets rushed, gets blocked, and you get the ball back. Firelands is just worried about this field goal. But whatever happens to the field goal, their goal is going to be to keep Vermilion from coming down and tacking down another score.
And, they are in that awkward spot there. So they're just into the Kennedy Sports Cycles red zone, but it's a little bit far enough away where it's not an automatic kick, not at the high school level.
Well, they said the ball's on the 17. Now, they were spotting it 8 yards back for the spot of the kick, which is interesting.
So we should shake out just beyond 30 yards.
Right. Now, again, of course.
So Tobicash will come back with the offense.
Oh, so they decided they don't want to try it.
Oh.
But the wind has stopped. Interesting to note. 4th and 4. 3 wide receivers, trips left, 1 right. Tobicash is just going to run it. He's not going to throw the football here.
So he'll get the snap. He's looking downfield, looking over the middle, and Beery scoops that out of the air. Wow, what a catch.
It shows you what I know. Brent Perry doing it again.
Carter
he is
Bully
just amazing.
All over him, and he still hauled it in.
And when we say all over him, it was legit. Carter Bully's a safety out there trying to duke it out. He's 5'10", 175 pounds. Perry 6 foot 220. But he scooped that one before it touched the turf.
Incredible catch.
It shows you what I know. I thought that Tobicash was going to run.
Well, and he faced another blitz. We've seen that a lot in those 3rd and 4th down situations from Vermilion. So
9-yard line, 1st and goal.
And obviously Bury out there, a couple receivers left. One at the top of your screen, and Radonovich next to Tobicash. They'll give to Radonovich, gets out of 1 tackle. Not getting further, so 2:20 to go. They got plenty of time to work with, but you also talked about don't leave anything left for Hooks in that offense.
2:14, and the clock is running. They'd like to score with no time left on the clock here in the first half. 22-7, Vermilion up over Firelands.
And it's also important, Vermilion will get the ball to start the second half.
It's funny, Kirshner, usually a slot, he's split way out wide on the open end of the field, the far side of the field.
They'll fake it to Radonovich, trying to slip it out to Bury off his hands, and that was going to be a tough play to make no matter what.
And you know what? Mr. Tobicash on the seat of his pants. Good rush that time. I believe it was Mason Cooper. And Cooper immediately looked at the official. But you touch the quarterbacks these days, you know what I mean? You want to make sure. He said, it was legit. Pushed him and bang, I pulled back immediately.
You're always looking over your shoulder after you do that, right?
You know, for the longest time in football, there was like an unwritten rule for defense. You take the opposing team starting quarterback out of the game with a clean hit, but a good hard hit. And now you can't even do that.
But he did force Tobacash's first incompletion tonight. So now it'll go back to him. Rushers immediately hits as he lets it go, and that one's going to be caught, I believe, intercepted. That'll be the two of Chase Jackson.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Jackson turned to wide receiver, which he is, and bang, he tucked it away. How amazing was that? He's a slot receiver at offense. Chase Jackson with the pick on defense. Vermilion's ball, you know what? You're coach to future right now. I'm putting you in your shoes, my friend. You go down and try to get another score.
I believe you have to at least make an effort here on these first couple plays. I know they like to run the ball, and we'll get a look on screen here. Bury
what a brilliant catch.
Trying to look for it as he was double covered. And, yeah, that'll be the second turnover of the day forced by Vermilion.
Chase Jackson, what a pick.
So as we scramble to update everything on our end, both these teams are ready to go.
Fireland was on the 9-yard line.
And still, second and goal to go situation. So they'll definitely be thinking about that one as the game goes on. But either way, Vermilion back out there. It's going to be an end around. That'll be Mooney this time as he's been dangerous with the ball in his hands. Scampering ahead, close to that first down.
Landon Mooney popping right up. Says, I want the ball again, Coach. You know, I like it. I call that feeding the beast. If you're running well, you're in good shape, you're healthy, which that young man is, give him the ball again. 9 yards on that carry off the right side of the line. Just straight ahead blocking by Rob White and Trenton Garcia.
I mean, if you can believe it, he's still only at 4 carries on the evening. It feels like a lot more than that.
And think about his Colahan just playing an offense now. Oh, boy. He is all fired up.
So they'll do some deception here. Hooks is going to look over the sideline, and he's got his man. Is that Cooper? Before hitting the sideline, first down.
He threw that ball, he being Drake Hooks, over Lucas Green, 6'1", 175-pounder, just laid it over him. I'll tell you what, the wide receiver was covered. Hooks found him. It was brilliant.
Well, I was about to say, I like how you used the word layer. That's a college level throw right there.
That was a big-time throw. That was a D1 college and NFL throw.
So they are now set up nicely, and that stops the clock at exactly 60 seconds till our Jeff Allison halftime show.
And interesting, Alejandro Flores for Firelands, usually a defensive end. He now is at the nose tackle position. Landon Thomas has slid out to the defensive end spot.
And we've got some misdirection there. Double handoff as they'll go back to Mooney. And he's got 3 Falcons on him. Rips down at 35.
Oh, Mooney got thrown down to the ground. Big time. Looked like 15 on that tackle. Hayden Tobacash. But, boy, just perfect. When they executed that handoff, that was in traffic.
Yeah, it was. As that'll stop the clock with a timeout there from Vermilion after the 12-yard pickup. So we'll take a quick one with them. 53 seconds till halftime. But the Sailors on the move here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here on site at Vermilion High School, coming out of our timeout right there, courtesy of PMOH. Vermilion has 2 of them remaining. 53 seconds to go here in the second quarter. So Hooks in the pistol, fakes one man, and then that's going to go around the edge to Dawson Coates. Tries to sidestep a Falcon, and they're going to say he landed in bounds. They got to move.
Good submarine tackle that time by Lucas Green. Came flying upended him by the ankles. Yeah, 41 and 2.2 seconds. Another timeout now.
And if I'm the Sailor coaching staff right there, even if that play doesn't really get very far, you assume going to the short side of the field you're getting out of bounds. But good job by, I believe, Lucas Green.
Lucas Green, yeah, he came in and submarine the play. Now, you've got 2nd and 3, 1 timeout left. I go for the end zone this play. If they don't, if it's an incomplete pass, the clock stops. If they complete it, they score a touchdown. If not, you have a timeout to use too.
And that last timeout, and we saw it last week. One of the teams in our matchup burned a lot of timeouts before the end of their halves, so it's come in handy having them in their back pocket here now.
And just what a great atmosphere here today in Vermilion, home of the Sailors. Downtown Vermilion, always a treat. There's the real nice Slovak restaurant downtown Vermilion, too, showing my Slovak roots. But always a great little town to come to. My daughter and her BF, as she calls him. That's boyfriend, right? Or not best friend.
Yeah, that's
okay. They come down.
You got to have the extra BFF for the best
They come
friend.
down here to the farmers market for what they don't grow. Got a little plot of land, 3 acres in Avon.
It's a lovely time of year here, and we'll actually be here again tomorrow for junior LCA football. More on that later as Hooks is ready, navigating through the pocket. He'll get that pass off, and just through the hands of his target.
Boy, Hooks had to get that off in a hurry. 3 men coming at him. He dodged 2, but if he didn't throw that ball, he was going down and just a little high.
And that experience continues to show. I mean, this is a guy we've seen for several years now. He's a part of a big win a couple of years ago when they won the Win-Or Trophy against Huron. And last year we were here against Port Clinton, a game that went to 5 overtimes.
Is that amazing?
High school football, man, nothing like it. So now 3rd down.
In Northeast Ohio, I will add, too.
Yeah, we'll specify that, too. As we're going to see a handoff to Kaiser. He's got a convoy to follow. Makes one man miss, powers through another under 30 seconds to go.
Lucas Green is the master of like those low submarine tackles. But that time, boy, Kaiser just went right through it.
18 yards. He's up to 62. We'll get into more of our stats at halftime, and quick spike there.
Good job. They don't use a timeout up. 22 and 5-10 seconds. And now be 2nd and 10 to go for Vermilion. So they are 2nd and goal, I'll say.
And Alejandro Flores right there. You mentioned he'd moved down to nose tackle. He did his best to try to get under that spike on that play. I'm not sure if anybody noticed that. But he did his best to shoot under the center. Will be 2nd and goal from exactly the 10, so they can't gain another first down here. They have to get to the end zone. 22 and a half seconds to go. As we've got a trio of pass catchers coming into the huddle now.
Oh, they're going to get everybody available that can catch a football out there.
So
Plott, Jackson, Dawson, Smith.
So it'll be Kaiser to the left of Hooks, and then Firelands may not have been expecting a look like that, so they'll use a timeout here.
Hey, they had 2. A good timeout to use, especially with a team who's up by 15 on you. 22 seconds, they're on 1st and goal from the 10.
Yeah, this is definitely a huge hinge moment right here. As we mentioned it earlier in the quarter. Vermilion's going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, so Firelands has to. Maybe you can force a field goal, maybe even force the clock to run out.
Vermilion Sailors, Sailorland, love it to come in here. We're always treated like royalty. We come here whether we're calling a football game or a basketball game.
That's right.
Good people, great community.
And we enjoy it. And honestly, I'm getting a little distracted here. I can smell the fries wafting all the way up here to the press box.
And I took photo. When you see a setup, it's like a Conestoga wagon, like for the old wagon train
Looks like
shows.
a Sooner, yeah.
When you see a wagon like that set up for the Lions Club, and when you see the table with ketchup, salt, and vinegar. I know my cardiologist listening in now saying, "Munch, stay away." Oh, no. This is
Can't
the real
resist.
deal, baby.
As the Sailors and Falcons will retake the field here. We'll get into some of those extracurriculars at halftime. Let you know everything happening up here. But right now, it's 2nd and goal from the 10. They'll hand off. That's going to go to Kaiser. Makes one man miss. Bulldozes forward. He's tackled at the 1, but there's a flag. A lot of chaos happening here with 17
It's a
seconds left.
hold against Vermilion. It's coming back. Hold on the right side. Boy, Kaiser is just a powerful 6', 200-pound junior running back.
Oh, it's got to be such a tough adjustment, too, for that Firelands defense when you go from the speed of Mooney to a wrecking ball like Kaiser.
And you know what? Kaiser got that inside the 1, but it's coming back. 17 and 2/10 seconds on the clock. 22-7 Vermilion.
So we'll see how they handle the clock here. Now it'll run 17 seconds and counting, and we'll see a quick timeout from Coach DeFucci.
Yeah, he's got to do it. No time to get up there and spike the ball. You've got 2nd and 17.
Landy be stuck in 3rd down, too,
Yeah,
right?
no, here's something you got to look at. 2nd and 17. I know the running game has been very good for Vermilion this evening so far, but can you get 17 yards on a run with only 14 seconds left. No, they're going to have to throw the football a couple times.
Yeah, and, with that, you maybe would have a chance to spike it, but that's if everybody's able to get up, get on schedule. And even then, once you spike it, you'll be stuck in a 4th down and maybe 5 if you're lucky, if you get that many yards. So
I'm standing by you. You have to throw the football down here.
And you can really lean on. That's where that.
But look who he has. He has Micah Smith. He has Chase Jackson. He has Roy, who's the captain.
Now, I am
Tight
interested
end.
because obviously Micah Smith and Chase Jackson, a couple of speedsters we've seen out there a lot, their size comes into play with Mason Cooper, who did have a catch earlier in the drive.
You throw the fade?
We'll see if he's in the game or not.
Now, the fade is not
He will be out there.
a high percentage toss. But do you do it in a situation like this? Do you play where receiver goes down, cuts across the back line, you throw it high so then when they get it is hit
Well,
is a wide receiver?
The last time down, we saw Firelands throw a pick in that scenario, so we'll see what Hooks and Coach DeFucci have in store here. That'll be Mooney in motion. He'll roll that way. Has to cut up. Looking downfield, he's going to let it go towards the sideline. That'll be hauled in by Chase Jackson, and he's out of bounds. 8 seconds to go.
Yeah, out of bounds to the 6-yard line. So you've got 3rd and 6 for a touchdown with 8 seconds. You got 2 passes here to toss, or if you're going to be conservative, you toss 1, and then you still go up by 18 points if you kick the field goal. That's more than 2 touchdowns, my friend.
That's right, and with possibly more to build on to open the 3rd quarter. So David Plott heads out there. And speaking of, as we get closer to the halftime show, that'll be brought to you by Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance, where we'll check out and highlight some of the food options here. And we've got another stoppage. Timeout called by Firelands, so now we are down to no timeouts left.
Do you know, if you see something, especially with the ball on the 7-yard line, you're down by 15, 8 seconds, you got to blow that timeout. You're not going to get the ball back on offense unless it's a scoop and score for 93 yards. But we've seen big plays already today with that 88-yard punt return.
In all phases, yeah. So each team huddling up here.
Flashing back, how important are all phases of the game? Like I said, honored and blessed that my son was on the state championship team in 2011. Actually for St. Ignatius, the last one. But at the end of the game, when all the smoke cleared and all the celebrating, Coach Kyle called over the quarterback on offense, the middle linebacker on defense, and my son, who played all special teams, to all 3 of them to hold the trophy up. Because he goes, you need all 3 facets of the game to win the game.
That's a special moment indeed. And I can't stand it when special teams or that 3rd phase is discounted. There's a reason they say you got to win all 3 phases, right? And there's no small parts to that. So with 8 seconds left, 3rd down and goal from the 7, and neither side with timeouts remaining. We'll see what Vermilion has in store. Drake Hooks. He's going to roll right. 4 receivers in the pattern. He rifles it in there. Dropped. No, it's tipped. They're going to say intercepted and hauled in.
It was intercepted.
Jonah Weber.
My. Who got to that one?
Jonah Weber somehow off of the tip drill was able to save that.
Unbelievable. Weber doing a job. The ball went airborne. The receiver had it, got popped, and that's what did it, the contact on the receiver.
And here's the other crucial part. There was a second left. So if that would have fallen incomplete, at least Vermilion, maybe they get a field goal, but no chance at that now thanks to Weber's heroics.
Well, you know what? This is pretty simple. You got to go out there, and what's going to happen? Tobic Ash is going to take a knee, and they're going to get ready, regroup for the second half.
And they'll mark it at the 2. So, yeah, like you say, he might have enough room to be able to kneel down at the 1. If they were at the 1, he would have had to follow, to follow his center.
Why does the ball have points on it? Because you don't know what's going to happen to it. That was the case. Hit the receiver. Receiver had it in his hands. Bang! He was jarred from behind. The ball shot up in the air, and bingo, picked off.
I would say the only other crazier one I've seen than that was last night in the Browns preseason game off of a guy's ankle. But back here, 1st down and 10 from the 2. They're in the shotgun. Oh, we're going to see them throw it up. And it'll be in the vicinity. Tobicash in the vicinity of Kirshner, so there will be no grounding there. And that'll take us to halftime. So Firelands kind of avoids disaster there. It remains 22-7 in favor of Vermilion. We'll take a quick break. When we come back here, it'll be our Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Thanks to Jeff Allison. We'll talk about Rating the Dog, our official pizza provider, and get you ready for the second half here of the Stillman Cup on the Lorain County Sports Network.
That was heavy stuff. I mean, having a ball on the 1 yard line, and then it was just crazy down there, wasn't it? Yeah. They dodged a huge bullet. Dude, Pickerington North is a big-time team. I told you, Elder told me, you can't believe how much better they improved, how much they improved. Is it the SIBN, St. Ignatius Broadcasting? Yeah, St. Ignatius Broadcasting. They have a great linebacker, 44. Yeah, he was like a shot put guy in track. Uh-oh. He's got the angle on him. Oh, no. What's that? 80-yard touchdown? Let's see. They'll show it again. I jinxed him. Oh yeah, they're Pickerington southeast of Columbus suburb. Used to be a little farm town. Now they got 2 high schools. Pickerington Central, Pickerington North. Picking up. The Styles brothers. North. How far play that was? 90 maybe.
Back here in our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show on the Lorain County Sports Network as we're listening to the tunes of the Firelands Falcons marching band here in the Stillman Cup. Big rivalry that has really taken off in the last 10 to 11 years thanks to the Stillman brothers, the athletic directors of each respective school. And we mentioned how back and forth and how even this rivalry record is since the year 2000. 14 wins for Vermilion, 12 for Firelands, but Vermilion 2 in a row looking to make it a third, and they're doing all the right things right now and getting the lucky breaks, or the breaks, whatever you want to call them, to go their way.
Yeah, here's what's interesting is that Vermilion would get the ball to start the second half, but as big of a stop as there is in high school football just happened right before the half as Vermilion was knocking on the door, really, to put this game, I'd say, away at 29-7 going into the half,
Yeah.
but an interception on the goal line by Firelands turned the Sailors aside, and bang, that was as huge of a play. The wide receiver from Vermilion got cracked in the back. As soon as he touched the ball squirted up in the air, and alertly, the Firelands defender dove to catch the ball, and bang, the threat was turned aside. As huge of a play as we've seen. We're just 2 games in, but say for the years we've covered high school football, that was as big a play as I've seen.
Yeah, and that could be a real momentum boost heading into halftime here for Coach O'Rourke and the Falcons, as they're going to look to try to figure a few things out. They've had a couple of turnovers break against them, but I mean, outside
fumble
of
and
that,
an interception was on the goal line.
Yeah,
they're going the other way. But look at it so far. You had Dawson Coates 13-yard run, 77-yard drive for Vermilion after the Firelands fumble. Morrow's extra point made it 7-0, but then 34 seconds, so not even a minute later, a 51-yard touchdown pass from Tobacash to Green. Crawford extra point. It was 7-7. And then what happens? Well, Drake Hook's 1-yard run, Morrow extra point, 14-7, and then as electric as we can get, my friend, with 7:15 left in the half, an 88-yard pipe return by Micah Smith. Mooney, I should say, with a 2-point conversion. No, they didn't. They weren't trying to get the 2-point conversion, but they ended up getting it, and that's what happens. That's why a ball with points on it, I mentioned earlier, bounces funny. You never would know which way it's going.
And those are just a bit of a dive into our Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game so far. One standing out here, Liam Tobacash, 8 for 10, 132 yards. He does have that interception. Came on a 50-50 ball that was double coverage for his tight end Bury, who had, to that point, caught every pass he thrown his way, so I can't blame him for doing that.
But that's what's a good thing too, is when kids going 2 ways in smaller schools, it's a necessity on occasion. But when you have receivers like Micah Smith and Chase Jackson, who are also both your cornerbacks, well, they can catch the football, not just tackle guys if need be. And that's what happened on that pick. That was like catching a touchdown pass on the interception for Vermilion.
It truly was, and they've responded nicely and built this 15-point lead. And a peek at the stats for the Vermilion Sailors. This won't come as a shock to anybody. I mean, their bread and butter's been on the ground. Got a couple guys with some good numbers so far, like Kaiser, 8 carries, 62 yards, and then Mooney, 5 for 80. So he hasn't needed to touch it much to make an impact.
And you mentioned Kaiser, who's a powerful back at 6 foot, 200 pounds, just sidestepping on the tackles, high stepping on the tackles. But Mooney seemed to be at 5'8", only 165. He was doing some pounding ground. He was doing some grinding runs right between the line. Very, very strong man to take down.
Yeah, and tough to stop. And, the battle of the trenches, you highlighted in our Williams Brothers Builders keys to the game, how important that was going to be. I'd say it's played out to this point.
And something else we want to point out is that he's a gamer. He's a warrior. 12 tackles last week, 1 fumble recovery. I'm talking Trey Colohan, the junior center and nose tackle. But he's been getting some blows today for Trenton Garcia, number 78, who's been playing a lot of nose tackle. And something else Vermilion's doing on that down 3 linemen, where I've seen him packed in before, actually 3 guys. Nose tackle right over the center, each of the ends over between the guard and the tackle. They're spreading them out a little bit wider, and the linebackers are shooting in too to make more tackles for Vermilion.
And then they've been very effective as well. It's a hard-nosed defense, and we would expect nothing less from Coach Stefucci and his group. And now taking the field, the Vermilion Sailors marching band, and a few of them wearing golden, I want to get this right, plumes.
Golden plumes.
Yes.
That is like the fuzzy thing that comes out of your helmet, like a picture of plume of smoke, except it looks like it's filled with feathers, but they got golden plumes because those are like the captains of the marching band.
So we'll hand it over to them here in just a moment as they perform during our Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance halftime show. And when we come back, we'll try our best to find some scores of games happening elsewhere. A lot of big games tonight across the state and in the county, so we want to do our best to keep you up to date on that. But right now, Vermilion up 22-7 on Firelands here on the Lorain County Sports Network. big shout out and thank you to the Vermilion Sailors marching band for providing the halftime entertainment there with Star Wars. I'm a huge fan of that. I love that.
I was doing a quick count because we were down at the one end of the end zone just checking out the field before the game. And when the band went by us, I said, Max, it's been 5 minutes and the band is still walking by us, okay? Just a rough count for yours truly, at least 100 members of that marching band.
Look at that. They took up the whole field, basically. It's incredible.
How many members of that band? Somebody share with them. Wow, okay. So I did 100 as a rough count. Young woman with the marching band up here in the press box with us. She said 135.
Amazing.
With a rough count. They were amazing, and they just kept coming and coming. It's like, you keep entertaining us. But you know what we have to shout out to? Number 77 for Firelands, Alejandro Flores, playing the trumpet. I could see him at one of those jazz bop clubs down in New Orleans on Canal Street, playing a mean trumpet with the marching band, and then dashing off before they finished to join his teammates at halftime.
Well, and he played both ways. And then the start of their performance, they're hitting the high knees. They're dashing across the field. So, yeah, he's got to be well-conditioned. And speaking of, to continue enjoying concession stands and the like, we have to be well-conditioned for these bleachers as we look now to our Brian Victor of Howard Hanna. Normally rate the dog, but today we're rating the concession stand as a whole and the setup that they have over there here in Vermilion.
Well, Max and I like to survey the landscape before the game, okay? And we took a stroll to the north end of the end zone. And there's like an old wagon from Wagon Train, or I think they call them Conestoga wagons, for the Vermilion Lions Club. Got to shout them out in a big, big way. They had everything in there. They had French fries. Okay, I love fair-type fries. That was one of my favorite, what can I say, indulgences, when I'm out at a fair. But they turned fair fries into an art here at Vermilion High School. Max, you don't want to point it out to me. These aren't frozen.
No.
You had somebody dicing up the potatoes, okay? They had the fryer in there. But the condiment table that they have, okay, sometimes you're lucky to get a couple packets. I mean, what do you have in a packet of ketchup? Like a half ounce or something like that?
You get 2 fries out of it.
Yeah, thank you, okay. But they had the pumps for the ketchup, they had the salt, and they had the malt vinegar. How could you beat that in a big, big way? So shout out in a big, big way to the Vermilion Lions Club and to our sponsor who basically says, just enjoy the game.
Yeah, Brian Victor, man.
Brian, you know what, Brian? We're giving Vermilion for their food and their concession stand a 6 out of 5. Okay, am I allowed to do that?
It's unprecedented.
I'm bending the
but
rules,
if anybody
baby.
can, I think you can.
You know what? You know what I just did? I did what Woody Hayes did, which came back to bite him in the next year.
Oh, let's hear it.
Woody Hayes said that he tried to go to 2 in a game when he was up by at least 4 touchdowns, if not 5, against the U of M. And they said, well, why'd you go for 2 on that one, Coach? He goes, I couldn't go for 3 against the blankety blanks, okay? And so there you have it. So I'm doing 6 out of 5 for the Vermilion Lions concession stand.
It's going to be tough to top that. And speaking of tough to top, it's a top-notch weekend here of high school football in the state. And looking around at our E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling live updates, as we've done our best, Lorain County Friday Night Lights group on Facebook. Such an incredible community on there. They even were lending us a hand throughout the week with anything we needed. But looking around the county right now and beyond, Woodridge up on Brookside 28-13. Same score goes for Amherst Buckeye. The Comets leading there as they try to go to 2-0.
The Comets have nothing less than making the postseason this year. And I'll tell you what, we got to see them last week. That's a dang good football team.
That they are. Staying in the Southwestern Conference, North Ridgeville and Brush tied at 7. Now this one, it opened our eyes. Pine Richland up on Avon, 27-3 last check.
Now, I know that when we're doing games, it's hard to get your phone. But to Andy Bobarts and I, since we do Crushers games together, we've got that symbiosis, okay? So I asked you if that game was at halftime yet. You said approaching. So I asked Andy, I said, quickly, how could you describe the opponents for Avon today? He said one word, outstanding in every facet of the game. So Avon is not playing a patsy from out of state.
Well, and we know how good the Eagles are, so that's saying something for that team from PA.
They just keep reloading, my friend. They just keep – that is the factory pipeline that Mike Elder has put together in the great city of Avon.
That he has, and it's been fierce for other teams in his conference. Speaking of, North Olmsted up on Midview from the SWC, 13-0. And then looking at the LC8, Columbia, last check, up on Fairview, 21-6. Mapleton, our WOBL game of the week with Gary Tyler, Brian DeVito, Chris Lee, 14-7 in favor of the Mounties. Keystone up 6-3 on Cloverleaf. That's a game you saw last year.
Oh, my golly, you know what? And that is special. Keystone was stunned by Cloverleaf last year. Wyatt McKee took the opening kickoff for a touchdown for Keystone. And if you remember, Cloverleaf got their hats handed to him the week before by Buckeye. Cloverleaf came back in a big, big way to win that game. And this is fascinating because Vermilion is already on the field to receive the kickoff. Firelands hasn't even come on yet. Now they're coming out. That's how anxious the Sailors are to get the ball.
As are we to see what's going to happen in our final score update. Mayfield up on Elyria Catholic 20-7. So now we go back down to the field as Firelands approaches the tee. They're ready to kick off. Student section of Vermilion is ready to get this third quarter going as this opening kickoff of the half will be brought to you by LCCC. That is the Lorain County Community College, as Jonah Weber sends that one off and out of bounds at around the 25. So that's where Vermilion will set up. A big thank you to Jeff Allison of Health Markets Insurance for bringing us halftime every week. And we already reminded you about Brian Victor when rating the concession stand this week, but Papa John's in Lorain, Colorado Avenue. They're the official pizza provider of the Lorain County Sports Network.
I truly don't think the kicker for Firelands wanted to put the ball where he put it because you're giving good field possession, 35-yard line to start the second half for the Vermilion Sailors.
Yeah, and that's the balance they play out. So Jonah Weber kicked that. Their place kicker, Landon Becker, remaining on the sideline there. So we'll see how that
was fast, interesting, wasn't it?
So this
Jonah, the 6 foot, 165-pound junior wide receiver DB.
So this Vermilion offense heads back out after a, let's face it, a disappointing end to that first half.
Well, they were knocking on the door, and they could have really started pounding nails in the coffin for the Fireland Falcons, but Falcons turned them aside.
As Kaiser will get the first handoff of the half to start the Janasco Insurance first snap of the half.
Kaiser was relentless that time and just keeping the knees moving and kicking, but the offensive line of Vermilion just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. That was a 7-yard gain. He was hit by 2-3 Firelands defenders after 2 yards.
And I think it was clear there was a little bit of extra motivation stored up in that group after how the second quarter ended. In case you missed it, goal line stand and interception to close the half caused by Firelands. Now we'll see the fullback get it this time. That'll be Kaiser again, and this time the Falcons looks like it's going to be right near that first down line.
Yeah. I think he's going to be just no, he got it.
So
interesting. Must have been the second effort. I thought he was stoned maybe a half-yard short, but he's there by the tip of the football.
So that's the first Dickin, Dovin, and Reber Jones Funeral and Cremation Center first down of the second half. Lorain County's premier funeral, cremation, and memorial service. They also have that new location in Elyria. That's Dickin, Dovin, and Reber Jones Funeral Home.
Thomas, Flores, and Sigsworth are the 3-down linemen for Firelands.
This time Mooney will get in. Here's the burst that has been sitting in that backfield. He makes one man miss, and he drags two more inside the 25.
Moody with at least a 30-yard run that time, and the old saying is he faked the defender out of his jock.
And whether that, his shoes, something is back at the 30. And, you know, if you're a Firelands fan, or even one of the players, you go from a year where Evan Coons has a remarkable season. He ran all over this exact team. He moves on. You think, okay, great. Now we don't have to face him. And they got two more running backs, who I'm not saying are Evan Coons, but they are certainly playing as close as they can.
Mooney and Kaiser have just been brilliant today, but the line in front of them, the Hoss is getting it done.
As they follow the left side there, that'll be Kaiser.
Kaiser cutting it back behind Bear Benish. Benish is the small guy on the defensive line, is 6 foot, 175, but he's mobile and he's strong. You don't get the nickname Bear by not being strong.
No, you do not. And he's not the first Benesh, I believe anyway, he's not the first Benesh to come through this program, and that's the thing that stands out. A lot of siblings that have come through this team. We even have a pair on the team this year with Peyton and Landon.
Peyton Mooney, a backup quarterback behind Drake Hooks, the captain.
Both sophomores. So now Hooks, speaking of, goes under center. He's going to pitch it this time to Mooney. It's like a broken record over and over again. He's going to find the lane to the outside and in to the goal line. Touchdown.
18-yard run for Landon Mooney. Just turned it on the right side of the line. Rob White, Trenton Garcia just turned their man in. They called it blocking down, and bang. How do you like that, Mooney? 18-yard run to start the second half. Dude, only 2 minutes and 21 seconds has expired in the second half.
That it has.
Come see us at Jamie's Carpet Shop and get floored.
Making quick work, and the reason I was shocked by that is because this was a team that drag out their drives in the first half. So the snap is back. Hold, and that one right near the line of scrimmage may have been tipped or off of the hold, so that's going to be no good for Brody Morrow, his first PAT miss on the season, but it'll keep us at what looks like a traditional 28-7 score here as Vermilion strikes first in under 2.5 minutes.
And that is a 3-touchdown lead. It's something that you need to heed because Firelands has to come back with 3 touchdowns just to tie the game, if not, unless they get a couple of 2-point conversions.
Well, and let's think, it could be even worse right now. It could be a 4-score game if they were able to close out. So Firelands, at least, there's a crack in the door. They can't see much light right now, but there's a shed of it. And if there's anybody you want to turn to, it's Liam Tobicash, an experienced senior quarterback, and a lot of the playmakers he has at his disposal.
Just fascinating how quickly Vermilion came right back down to score.
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly taken this rivalry to heart. I mean, before they won these last two in 25 and 24, Firelands ripped off 10 in a row against them.
Just amazing how the fortunes switch and change. Firelands can't get demoralized. They're still in this football game. Heck, you've got almost 2 quarters of play left.
And if you can avoid the turnovers, they have proven this offense can get going. And drop into a knee to get that one. I believe that's going to be Crawford. So Firelands will start inside their own 30.
Caleb Crawford wisely went down with that. You don't want to try to pick it up, especially his knee probably touched too as he went to get that football.
That as well. And now you can see it right now. That's an energized defense heading back out there. Likes of Isaac Kaiser trying to get the boys fired up.
Oh, they're sky high. They are sky high.
And that's after, he started the second half with a couple of carries right there.
Isaac, you know what Isaac Kaiser is saying? Hey, they're hitting me. I'm going to turn around and hit some of them.
We're going to pay that back as he sets up at the defensive end at the top of your screen. Has some pullers going away from him as Radonovich goes on the left side.
I like exactly what Firelands did to start that drive. Just hand it off. No need to panic yet. There's a lot of time left in this football game, but you do need to go down and get something on this drive.
Yeah, you certainly have to cash in right here as Liam Tobicash will come out in the shotgun this time.
And the wind pretty much is negligible. It totally died down.
So now he'll set up with Radonovich to his right. Beery has a wing spot. He'll go out in the pattern as Tobicash is ripped down and sacked. What a start to the second half here for these Vermilion Sailors.
Oh, my golly. A man just blew in from the outside and took him down. That was amazing.
I believe that's going to be Daniel Roy on the hit. One of the captains.
Daniel Roy, one of the 2 middle linebackers on that, had 10 tackles last week against Johnstown in that loss.
So a loss of 7 on that one. And we know Tobicash isn't the fastest guy, but he is nowhere near on pace to the...
Oh, he's strong to take him down like that.
80 rush yards he had last week. He'll set up the throw, gets it off just in time over the middle. That'll end up, I think, with Crawford, DiFilippo on the receiving end. So what do you do here now? That was a big game, but it's still 4th and around 6 to go.
Yeah, you have to punt the football. Well, just because I say they have to doesn't mean they are, but they are going to.
This deep in their own end, do expect to see that. So Bury will be at the punting spot, and then pair of Sailors back deep, and Micah Smith and Carter Boley. And you got to be careful. You already saw Smith take back a punt 88 yards.
Lightning strikes again.
So this one will be a high punt going out of bounds close to midfield. That'll end up in the track, actually.
Boy, on one hand, you want to get a high punt and hang time for your gunners, so everybody else to get down there and make the tackle, but you don't want to just kick the ball 19 yards. That's just what happened.
And with how effective this running game has been, they can still take their time. 7:48 to go here in the third quarter.
You would think on one hand, Hooks has some weapons to throw the ball to in Smith, Jackson, Plott, Roy, the tight end. But boy, I'd keep grounding and pounding, man, because that has been so successful for Vermilion this evening.
And I, want to avoid any quick math mistakes on my own, so I'll leave it to the computer. I'll leave it to the formulas in there. Already over 200 yards. They're averaging 9 yards a carry right now are the Sailors.
Wow. Like I said, just keep running the football, eating the clock, and keeping the Firelands offense off the field on the bench.
So Drake Hooks on his own in the backfield. And, that's going to be lost on the handoff there. It looked like they were trying to get the end around to Mooney.
Well, Mooney did the right thing by just flying on the football, not trying to pick it up and run with it.
Well, because in pursuit, it looked like at least Alejandro Flores, along with the 55 of Hayden Dietz, just a freshman, I think, out there. So
good to see Dietz. A lot of substitutions coming in used by both teams.
So it's officially going to be a loss of 7 against Mooney, and he's still over 100 yards, though, if that gives you any reference point.
He's been brilliant.
It's now in the I formation. It'll be a toss. Mooney gets his hands on this one, following some lead blockers. Gets about 5 or so.
Yeah, he got at least 5, if not 6. Should pick up a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11.
As they'll make a couple of quick subs over there. Chase Jackson will enter the ball game. Plot, along with Coates, will head to the sidelines. Maybe not any trickery on this one with Coates heading out of the game.
Micah Smith bringing the play in.
As the Firelands defense looks on, got to imagine they'll do what they can to keep everything in front of them here. 6.5 to go in the third quarter.
Vermilion Sailor student section has not sat down 1 second in this game.
So that proves they're not content yet. Here's Hooks. He's got Mooney behind him. They'll fake a counter. Going to roll right, looking for a couple of options downfield. He delivers the bullet in there. That'll go to the 2 of Jackson and move the chains.
Chase Jackson with a beautiful catch just to move, just a little down into the sidelines. But you know what a great pass rolling out by Drake Hooks on the run. He fired that football. That was a bullet, my friend.
And it almost appears like both of these quarterbacks are more comfortable when they're on the move.
Well, especially when you flip the coin for the quarterback for Firelands, because he's been under intense pressure. Liam Tobakesh has been.
So not necessarily out of choosing, but out of necessity, as Hooks will return to the line of scrimmage here. I believe that's Kaiser to his left this time. They'll bring Coates in motion. He'll be a lead blocker. Almost no way for him or Mooney to hit, as Kaiser's going to work his way forward inside the red zone, and that'll be another trip to the Kennedy Sports Cycles red zone.
How do you stop this running attack for Vermilion between Mooney and Kaiser? They have both been brilliant today. Different styles at times, but, boy, opening up holes. This time was on the right side of the center, so either to the 2 or the 4 hole, and bang, he exploited that to the utmost.
And we've seen, even when they try to load the box, bring guys up there, whether it's these motions or some deception, it's doing just enough with the eye candy to keep them at bay.
2nd and 2, good play to throw the ball in the end zone.
He'll turn hand to Mooney. He's going to get up the middle, spinning his way forward, and that's going to be a 1st and goal.
I know you know the name. You may have never seen him play. Gabe DiFilippo was over there, but that reminded me of only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner in the history of college football, Arch Griffin, which tells me he's the greatest player ever to play. Who else has won 2 Heismans? That was an Arch Griffin run, because even when he got spun around, Arch used to run backwards, just keep those legs moving.
Unreal.
If you get another 2-3 yards, yeah.
And a fun tidbit about that, his grandson actually is going to be on Ball State's roster this year, and they open against who? Ohio State, which you can listen to on WOBL, 1320 AM, 107.7 FM next Saturday. Back here in Vermilion. From the 4, they'll hand to Mooney. He's got a convoy in front of him. He's going to jump for the pylon. Sneaks in, touchdown, Mooney. They extended to a 27-point lead here in the third quarter.
4-yard run. You want to talk about teammates. You want to talk about the ultimate team sport in football. One of the men out there leading the blocking was excited at Mr. Mooney, because he knew that he made that happen in a big, big way. And you got to have those rocks of granite down in the trenches getting it done. Boy, celebrating out there in a big way was Rob White, the right guard, and that's exactly where Mooney ran. Extra point, no good.
So that'll go wide and keep it 34-7. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the third quarter from Sailor Way. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, Vermilion will kick it back off to Firelands here in the third quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network. 34-7 now, the score on the board here from Vermilion High School. Sailors leading over the Firelands Falcons as they're looking to win their third straight in the Firelands. The Stillman Cup, as that one will be a touchback. And Vermilion, they haven't been able to say that since a stretch from 2007 to 2009.
That was the last time
that they won 3 in a row in the series. And, they've taken it personally. Coach Bill DeFucci, ever since he took over a few years back, he's really done a great job of establishing a nice culture here, and it's showing.
Last year, Vermilion won 42-12. They're knocking on the door of putting that score similar to that up again tonight.
That's right.
And that was last year was at Firelands.
As we mentioned him earlier, Evan Coons ran wild in that one, breaking a few records.
Tobakesh, no running back, just 5-man split out.
As he'll keep it himself, dives up ahead. He's moving in a hurry to get up, and I imagine we'll see some tempo here from the Falcons.
4:10 left in the third, 34-7.
And this is a Firelands group who had built up some nice momentum for the first time in a number of years. Their first season opening victory since 2020, and only the
That's huge.
third time since under Coach Ryan O'Rourke. So they definitely want to try to build on that if they can, and maybe
played a very tough Senate team, the Rhodes Rams.
And it doesn't get easier. They play Bay Village next week, a comparable Division IV opponent. So now Tobakesh hands to Radonovich. He's stacked up by a number of Sailors that time.
Radonovich was bear hugged from behind by a Vermilion defensive lineman, and bang.
Is that Garcia again? I mean, he's still out there.
And Garcia's been playing a lot of the nose for Trey Colahan, and he's been doing it admirably.
It's now third down, and they'll say 4, long 3, short 4. So here's Tobakesh, Radonovich to his right. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. And I believe that's Weber at the bottom of your screen. Split out. Still one-on-one coverage. We haven't seen Vermilion deviate from that at all. So he'll get the snap, and it looks like a draw setup almost. Radonovich ripped down from behind, and I think he's going to be just short of the line to gain.
You know, you're going to have 4th and a half yard to go, but you're on your own 29-yard line. Actually, they're going to have more than a half yard to go.
They will, and it may have been noticeable on the front side of that pile. Unfortunately, Colin Connery had the pile end up on the back of his leg, so he remains down. We will step away, and as they check on him, we'll take a quick injury timeout here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Munch, you posed the question, 4th down, what do you do in this situation, in this game?
Well, you're down by 27. If you go for it and don't make it, this could be the end this early in the game.
So Tobakesh lets it go immediately. Receiver hit well before the ball arrived. No flag down, and that'll be a turnover on downs for the Falcons.
I believe they're going to say both the receiver and the DB were going for the football, and bang. Hence, a little bit of contact there is allowed, and what can you say? Vermilion will take over on the Firelands 28-yard line. Wow.
It's been that kind of night, just a dominant effort from Vermilion in all 3 phases. And as we mentioned that during the halftime show, they've been able to control each phase. And now this offense, who I don't know who's been the more effective, the offense or the defense, with how steady this group has been. The one bad drive, you could argue, just came at the end of the first half.
But Luke Richardson and Trey Colahan, they go sprinting on the field, thinking we want to hit some people.
Well, and they both got a nice breather there for a little bit of that drive, so we'll see Hooks come out in the I formation. behind him, and that'll be a pitch over. That'll be, I believe, is that Boley running, or will that remain Mooney? No, excuse me, that will be Carter Boley now in at tailback.
Sprinkling some subs in now. 2:21 in the third.
And for Boley, a guy that, came into the game listed third running back on their depth chart. Didn't get a carry last week, but that doesn't mean he can't serve a purpose for them, because we've seen it's been a by committee approach.
And David Plott, the messenger receiver, checks in with the play.
So we're seeing a decent rotation here around Hooks in that starting offensive line. Coates in motion. Check that. Kaiser will be back in, and he's going to bulldoze his way ahead.
And the middle of the offensive line again, just blowing their men off the football. I'm talking Trey Callahan, Rob White, Bear Benish.
And I want to apologize for shortchanging how much run the starters were going to get is Kaiser. I mean, if you're a tired defender out there, that's the last thing you want to see coming at you in a ball game where there's going to run it, and it happens to be him.
I mentioned that last week, too. You can't look at a score, 34-7. You have to look at, okay, we're going to have games where the starters need to play every second in a game. That's why you can't pull them out yet.
Kaiser will remain in there behind Hooks, and then behind him is Boley, who gets the handoff, just puts his head down following his blockers.
I'm laughing because when you have the offensive line that Vermilion does, that's all a running back has to do is just put your head down, ride the guy's hip into the line of scrimmage.
You're going to get at minimum at least 3 to 4 yards, and maybe that, we talked about him earlier, that cloud of dust that comes with it, he gets 5 right there.
Wow, 9-yard line. Knocking on the door again.
Vermilion, they'll actually be looking at another Lorain County League team next, as they'll get the Clearview Clippers. Last check, they were trailing by a couple of scores to Westlake, as that's also here on our YouTube channel this evening. But Clippers started slow last year and then ended up being one of the hottest teams in the county. And speaking of the hottest team in the county, the Sailors on Kaiser's back bulldoze their way in from 9 yards out.
Isaac Kaiser was like a human human bowling ball bouncing off pins.
Come see us at Jamie's Carpet Shop and get floored.
And that'll hit us to a 30-plus point advantage.
5-yard run by Kaiser that time.
As he finishes off the drive. And I think we're about to see, after the extra point, a victory bell. Still the third quarter, folks, but the cheerleaders of Vermilion want that bell to be rung. So that's what you hear in the background there under the scoreboard. 41-7. Stillman Cup most likely, the way it looks right now, going to stay with the Sailors for a third straight year. And that won't be the end of the quarter as they stop the clock between special teams plays. So we'll keep it here as we'll likely see the last play of the quarter happen on the next 2 plays. I want to remind you that you can obviously stick with us here on the Lorain County Sports Network for this game, but we've also got games on our radio stations and the post-game show to wrap up the whole night, as we'll hear from coaches, possibly even players. We'll get finals and highlights happening all over Lorain County and involving Lorain County teams. So once we are complete here, you can, of course, head over to WOBLradio.com, WDLWradio.com, or good old-fashioned AM/FM radio. As once, like I said, we wrap up here, it'll be sent to the Spitzer Auto World and Amherst post-game show at Spitzer. Our world revolves around you. Now, speaking of things that revolve around places, I can see, I believe, is that a full moon peeking out over the opposite side of the road bleachers.
We'll be driving into it on our way home, heading back east.
Lucas Green will get the kickoff and fight his way forward to the 34, and that'll bring an end to the third quarter. So when we come back, the Falcons offense will take the field and try to make something happen to start the fourth quarter of play. Sailors up big here in the Stillman Cup on the Lorain County Sports Network. Fourth quarter about to get underway. As I alluded to the post-game show, that also means we're going to be trying to figure out some of our post-game awards and festivities as Tobacash rolls out rifles one into some coverage there off Beery's hands and broken up by Bully.
Boy, trying to haul that ball in was the tight end. We've mentioned Brett Perry more than one time, but boy, he got hammered trying to catch that ball.
And he got to touch the ball 4 times in the first half. I don't think in the third quarter they were able to find him at all, and just it has been a tough spot because he's a great check down guy, great safety net, but in this spot, you're not really looking that way when you're trying to get the ball down the field. So Radonovich will get a couple there, and now it brings up third down.
Julian Marshall with a nice block. Right tackle for the Firelands Falcons.
And that's an offensive line might be dealing with a little bit of shakeup because we did see Connery walk off, granted under his own power, but still didn't look 100%. So
I'll see if he's that right guard spot.
And that was a line that already had to do a little bit of moving around to start the game. Tobacash lets that one fly deep down the sideline. Incomplete. And I do believe that Hayden Dietz has entered the game at one of the guard spots. So
he'll be in for Colin Conroy, who went down the last drive.
So after the incompletion, that makes it 4th and 7. Under 10.5 minutes on a moving fourth quarter clock here. And I think we may have gotten a penalty.
There is a penalty being marked off against against Vermilion.
So that'll move the chain. So scratch that on the 4th down. Rather, it'll be 1st and 10 from Vermilion's 49 here. So Firelands given second life on this drive. Tobacash will take it. Makes a couple of Vermilion defenders miss, but they're just, even with the game relatively in hand,
Vermilion defenders get a little lower. And I've always said, too, the guy who gets from point A to point B, the quickest, the lowest, with the worst attitude is going to win that matchup. And that's what's happening now with the Vermilion defensive line.
Yeah, point A to B there. Winning their one-on-one matchups. As we'll see a couple of reserves worked in. Bear Banesh off of the bench, but obviously still plays that O-line in there at the end right now. Tobacash out left. He'll find Bury. So another good throw on the run just outside the hashes.
And they've got 18 yards on that. Another first down for Firelands. No quit in his team. And Max, you hit it on the head. The full moon poking up over the stadium here, the Sailor Stadium in Vermilion.
So full moon can equal some crazy things, weird things happening. We'll see what we got here in this fourth quarter.
I don't have to worry
right?
about you turning into a werewolf on me.
Not me, no.
Okay, just checking. What about Corey?
We'll see how rowdy things get up here. Tobacash lets that one fly outside the numbers. Hauled in, I think that's Weber. Tackled into the Sailors bench. No, check that, DiFilippo.
Gabe DiFilippo, 5'11", 175-pound junior. And you know what? Firelands is still hitting. They're hitting hard. Mason Cooper, the outside linebacker, making a tackle. They're hitting clean, but they're still letting the Firelands players know they're out there playing against them.
Yeah, you still have starters, the likes of Mooney, Bully, like you said, Cooper, each of the corners, Smith and Jackson out there too. So clearly not content with this. And, the draw play almost had a chance there, but kind of ran into some of his own linemen who got their legs taken out. Thankfully, they both pop up.
And somebody reached down there for Vermilion, too, just to get a hand on him and uphand him just a bit.
And for Radonovich, it has been tough sledding tonight. Just 2 carries getting into the rush attempts getting into the double digits. Outside of that, he's averaging just over 4 yards a pop.
7:40 left in this football game. 41-7 Vermilion over Firelands.
As they face a 3rd down and 8 here. They were really good on 3rd down last week, 8 of 15. Not the same fortune this week as Tobacash scrambling, looking for options, and somehow got rid of it off the hands of Bury.
Oh, boy, Tobacash got hit. It was clean. A little slow getting up. He's a tough character.
Even padded, who's on the back right there, I believe Daniel Roy. Props for the hit.
Yeah, 2 defenders over there. Boy, they just strung it out nicely, making him throw the football when he didn't want to.
So now he'll head back to the his lineman and Radonovich, and get the play in for 4th down at 8. Just under 7 minutes to go as he surveys the defense.
Clock ticking away. 6:45 left in this football game.
Trying a little bit of a hard count there. He'll get it. All-out blitz, and it's going to set up the screen nicely. Radonovich trying to get past one Sailor. Daniel Roy wasn't fooled, and he shuts that play down.
Oh, my. But you know what? That was an executed screen play, screen pass as good as possible. 3 players, they basically the line of Firelands let him through. Tobicash got the pass off, but Roy wasn't going to be fooled out there, was he?
No, he was not. And nobody able to get hands or eyes on him. The 5'11", 200-pound senior, just one of 4 seniors who was on the football team, celebrated tonight, and that was a senior-like play.
And Roy's one of the captains out there, 5'11", 200 pounds. 10 tackles last week.
And I'm sure he's got to be in the neighborhood of that. But we do the best we can to keep the offensive stats. Defense, that's a whole other thing. I trust the guys from the paper and the schools to outdo us there. And now this marching band student section starting to get fired up here as they can feel the Stillman Cup coming back again.
Is that Peyton Mooney who's checked in at quarterback number 4?
I do believe so. You are right. Update some of these rotations.
Hey, Mooney last week was 5 of 10 for 165 yards.
So they gave him some opportunities late in that game as they came up short, but looks as though they're going to be on the winning side this week. A few, looks like the offensive line will remain the same, keep those guys protected out there, but the skill positions.
Well, Landon Mooney just checked back in. David Platt, who we've seen all day long, Platt I should mention. Now we're down to 5 minutes left in this contest.
And on the flip side, Firelands, that's majority, if not all of their starters, and at this point, I think you're absolutely right when you talk about you see in the mind of these coaches, they want to get full game reps out there for them. And we've got a man escaping. It took one to chop him down with another on his back, but Ronson Cecil, the senior, getting in right there, one of those 4 seniors.
We don't even have him on the depth chart.
As the senior's getting some run now. Good for him.
5'8", You know what? He's running like he wants to break a run and get into the end zone.
He said, hey, you don't forget about me, Coach. So roughly 7 on that pickup.
1st and 10 for the Vermilion Sailors. We've been saying that frequently today.
We have. I mean, it's been constant. Dickendoven and Reber Jones first downs for them, and maybe a little confusion there. Mooney forced to keep it.
I think Peyton was supposed to hand it to the up back, didn't do it. Kind of did a 360 and swung into the line.
Yeah, Trenton Garcia, even one of the players on the field, he put his arms up I believe the Joey Bosa shrug from back in the day. Like, what happened? They opened a bit of a lane there, so it's a pickup of 3 for the reserve quarterback.
Garcia, of course, the stellar right tackle for the Vermilion Sailors. 6'2", 230-pound junior. I don't believe we've seen a hold on either line today.
No, and if we have, it was probably it had to have been as far back as the first quarter because I do not recall. It's been pretty clean. Trying to shuffle his way through the line there. It's still physicality on display. Rob White, the 5'5", 220-pound junior, finishing a block nicely there for Vermilion.
And Hayden Tobicash on the tackle.
Pickup of, we'll give him 4. As Vermilion's
been relentless tonight. That's all we could say.
And they're closing in on 300 yards rushing. I'll withhold the information how far away they are for another minute or so as we're under 3 minutes to go now. I will say, though, they're still averaging over 8 yards a carry, even with some of their second teamers and reserves in there. Oh, the pulling guard lost his footing there, but it'll lead to a stop right ahead of the first down marker.
It's fascinating because this game was just 14-7 with 9 minutes left in the halftime when Micah Smith turned out that 88-yard punt return. Maybe that's another gentleman who's up for the vaunted Pog, the player of the game. We'll have to find out because this is not going to be an easy choice today.
Yeah, no, it is not. Whether it is our player of the game presented by Big Frog, or maybe our big brothers, big sisters of Lorain County, big play of the game. I mean, There's a couple options on the table.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt the 88-yard punt return is right there. Punting away for the first time today is Firelands.
Drake Hook's getting the opportunity to show off the leg. He does so, sending it from their own, their own 44 to inside the 10.
Wow.
Or just on the doorstep.
A minute 45 left in this game. Your Firelands, you do a couple of handoffs, and you get out and you regroup.
And we'll see if if that opportunity goes to Dylan Bonas, the backup quarterback, and possibly a couple other reserves that we have on our depth chart in front of us. But I want to remind you to stick around. We'll keep it brief as there's plenty of games going on around the county that you can check out on our family of channels like WOBL, WDLW.
Dave Rivera with that post-game show. Boy, I'll tell you what, he's the doctor. He's operating on that show. You know that?
Yeah, we're going to hear from coaches around the county. We're going to get updates, final scores, and big performers. That'll all be happening at the Spitzer Auto World in Amherst post-game show at the studio. We'll have our own abbreviated version where we'll go over our Al Januzzi CPA stats of the game, our defensive difference maker, courtesy of Ron's Transmission, and a few others. The one thing I do have to keep an eye on, though, is the seniors in this game. So we ran into an issue last week. All of our Player of the Game candidates weren't seniors, so we couldn't add anybody to our Golden Helmet Award watch list. But this week we have a couple to choose from, and we'll see if any of them can make the cut.
Wholesale changes for Vermilion on defense, as you would expect.
One of the only leftover, not starters, but key rotation guys will include Mac Mooney, the sophomore.
David Plotz back in.
That's right. We have 3 Moonies that have touched the field this evening. And Trent Garcia out there in the middle. It truly is a family tradition. And yes, Bonas will enter in at quarterback for Firelands now.
He's a 5'9", 155-pound junior.
And he'll let a pass fly immediately. Jonah Weber's spinning around. And they'll mark him down. They'll say his forward progress was halted. So they pick up at least 12 or 13 on that one.
Good gainer. Like I said, you want to go with your boots on. That's exactly what Firelands is doing right now.
Well, and it's a peek into next season because Tobicash, he's been a household name. The last 3 seasons, he's been the starting quarterback. Whether it is Bonas or somebody, there's going to be a new era of Firelands Falcons football next season and at quarterback. Vermilion will call a timeout. I think they wanted to get a substitution. Yes, very key there because that's Coates, Dawson Coates, who not only is he a starter on defense, but we've seen he made some plays on offense. He's kind of hobbled coming out the game there. So I believe.
But you don't want to see anybody get hurt at this stage of the game. 41-7, less than a minute to go.
Not at all. As Connor Graff, it looked like, was the junior heading into the game for him. Don't want to speculate too much on that. As Coates he's not seeking attention from a trainer or anything. They just want to watch and be precautious there.
Coach has been special today also.
So we're at 59.1 seconds to go.
You know, we keep talking about Mooney and Kaiser. Look at Dawson Coates. He had the first touchdown today.
You're right.
For Vermilion on a 13-yard run.
He did as he got the scoring started, and it'll be, I think, Radonovich on that one, and picks up a couple. And, yeah, I mean, he kicked off the first of several $5 donations from Jamie's Carpet Shop to the Friendship APL of Lorain County. And
how cool is that, Jamie's Carpet Shop? You want to support people that help others, and they definitely are right there at the top of the list.
And, I mean, it's not like it's just for our broadcast. No, this is across all four games each week. So that's a huge thing stepping up by them to help out, help sheltered animals here in the county. So under 20 seconds to go, it'll just be to Bonas, and he'll rush his way ahead, pick up 5. And
that should be the last play of the game, my friend.
As they look to huddle up. Nope, they will head to midfield, and that will head us to our postgame show. So we'll take a quick break, step aside, and when we come back, we'll get to our final stats, wrap things up, and let you know where to go after this game and where we'll be next week. So don't go anywhere. The postgame show is coming up next here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Bill Jackson Roofing Game of the Week. Good evening and welcome back into the Spitzer Auto World and Amherst post-game show at Spitzer. Our world revolves around you as the Stillman Cup has come to an end, at least in football, for 2026. The Sailors going home winners 41-7.
You know, Ryan O'Rourke just gathered his team on the gridiron, on the turf around him, just saying, hey, they fought hard, but Vermilion would not be denied tonight. They just had a great game plan, and they executed, and everybody flying to the football on defense and blocking like their lives depended on. You know, I always used to tell the kids, you know, block like somebody's trying to rob your house, okay? And that's exactly how they blocked today. Vermilion's lines, both sides, were stellar.
You know, I wish I had a coach tell me that when I was coming out. You know, I like to think I did what I could to do a good job of that. That's some extra motivation right there.
We were like, well, you know, actually when I coached basketball, almost similar, when I would say somebody comes into a paint, they're coming into your house, you know what I mean, to rob you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? You know, you're not dropping anybody like a bad habit, but a little elbow to the ribs, you know what I mean, little push, little shove, little jersey grab.
Let them know you're there.
You can't come in the paint. This is my house.
Well, and the Sailors defended their house tonight beautifully, and they, whether it was getting the turnovers to go their way, winning all three phases, we've got a lot to talk about here in the post-game show. We'll start with our big brothers, big sisters of Lorain County, big play of the game, because it takes little to be big, and the big play tonight really was the game-changing moment, it seemed like.
Yeah, and I got a shout-out, too, because being a big brother at one time, being a big and had two little brothers, really helped change my life for a positive way. The wife-to-be at the time, who is now Mrs. Munch 36 years later, said she even noticed that in me. You know, it has to be, okay, 7:15 left and a half. It's a 14-7 football game, right? Micah Smith gets the punt on his own 12-yard line. Next thing you know, he stashes to the sideline. I want to say it would be the west sideline of the field, and down for a touchdown, 80-yard punt return. That is definitely your big play of the game from Micah Smith. Mooney had a 2-point conversion, which was not meant to be that way, but at 22-7, it pretty much was over.
Yeah, and we're still, I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. I don't know how he tightrope the sideline there.
No, it was amazing. And like I said, you know, you usually see him go through the middle first, then cut it to the side. He pretty much cut it to start, but he had great field vision watching his blockers, what they were doing.
That he did, and it was a huge play. That's why it's our big brothers, big sisters play. Big play of the game. Moving over next to some of our stats of the game, and this will lead into our player of the game. We had another tough decision on our hand. We've had some great performances the first 2 weeks, but Landon Mooney, 11 carries, 135 yards, and 2 scores. Not to mention, I mean, he's playing a little bit on defense as well. He also had Isaac Kaiser, over 100 yards himself, a touchdown, and through the air, just an efficient night from Drake Hooks. 6 of 8, 96 yards. And he came up with the big plays when they needed to move the chains.
You know, all they needed to do was throw the football 8 times. He did it effectively and efficiently. Think about that. And I got to tip my hat to the coaching staff for the Vermilion Sailors, especially head coach Bill DiFucci. The running game was working. The two-headed monster, Mooney and Kaiser, got it done in a big way. Coach ran for a touchdown. It's like, make that your bread and butter. You know what I mean? A little bit of jam on top, and that was the passing of Hooks.
And you got a delicious meal on your hands. On the other side, Firelands, especially in the second half, not as able to get many things going. It is worth mentioning Lucas Green had that 51-yard touchdown in the first half. That was also a contender for our big play of the game. But stats of the game every week brought to you by Al Januzzi CPA, where it's all about the numbers. And when you have a 41-7 score, that means one of the defenses obviously did pretty good. And we had a guy who maybe we weren't expecting to be a difference maker tonight, but he ended up being just that for the Sailors.
Okay, when you have a Trey Colohan on your team, he's just a junior. Last week, 12 tackles, a fumble recovery, playing center and nose tackle. All right, you think he's never going to get out of there. Well, today, the coaching staff again for Vermilion Brilliant, Captain Trey Colohan was a mainstay on the offensive line, blowing open holes. But a gentleman by the name of Trenton Garcia, 6', 230-pound junior nose tackle, logged a lot of time in there. And you know what? He was a difference maker because they being the Vermilion defense, did not skip a beat. They were flawless. And Trenton Garcia, I salute you, sir.
Yeah, they made life difficult on Firelands all night, and that's why Trenton Garcia, he will get the Ron's transmission defensive difference maker, and they've been around probably longer than me and him combined. They've been the
What about
transmission
me?
specialists since 1983. I think they got.
Actually,
might have beat.
I started
by
doing
a
high
little
school
bit.
sports in '82, so I'm right in the ballpark with them, my friend.
There it is. As that is almost the conclusion here. We've got Mike Allison down the field getting our Big Frog Player of the Game award and T-shirt to none other than Landon Mooney, who really helped move this team down in chunks down the field.
What were Mooney's final stats?
Mooney came away with over 130 yards at 12 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns.
And he's a sophomore. So, opposition to that, what Vermilion's thinking about now, what they're not worried about, but their next priority, okay, getting a good night's sleep and getting ready for Clearview next week. But the bottom line is, think about coaches in the area. When you have Vermilion on your schedule to go, it's like you're seeing Landon Mooney, you're seeing Isaac Kaiser, you're seeing Micah Smith, Chase Jackson, David Plott, just all these guys, Daniel Roy coming back to play football. The offensive line, everybody on the offensive line is an underclassman. Richardson, a junior. Bear Bennett's a sophomore. Colahan, a junior. Rob White, a junior. Trenton Garcia, again, just a junior. And he played right tackle as well as filling in as nose tackle for this Vermilion Sailor football team.
It's going to be a lot to deal with. I know for certainty that Vermilion is going to be on the Lorain County Sports Network in a few weeks when they go and take on Sandusky. So we'll see them on this YouTube channel. It won't be us personally, but those guys are in for a treat with that. And then as for Firelands, we talked about in the broadcast, they will head home next week. They'll host Bay Village, who is always a pretty solid competitor in that Division IV playoff region. So
hard-nosed kids. Bay has a very, very physical team.
So it doesn't get any easier for Firelands. As for us, this is our last week of knowing for certain where we're going to be. It'll be Elyria at Barberton, so we're going to hit the road again.
Pioneers against Magic, close to your old turf in Talmadge.
That's right. I've
your alma mater,
been in that stadium, so it'll be a nice flashback. But beyond that, weeks 4 through 10, it'll be a fan vote. So this is our last weekend of certainty, knowing where we're going to be.
And what will happen with the fan vote, we will give you a couple of games. And we're going to go, not quite certain yet, will it be to a text to the station or an email or something of that nature, but it will be electronic voting.
Yeah,
and you tell us which of the games that, we'll narrow it down for you. You tell us which of those games you want us to go and broadcast.
Yeah, and we talked about how helpful Lorain County Friday Night Lights community group on Facebook has been. Probably look there as well, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. As for us, that's going to do it here from Vermilion. We encourage you to go to WOBL, WDLW, or go on Facebook if you want to watch online, Lorain County Sports Network, as they're going to have the Spitzer Auto World in Amherst post-game show. That'll get started relatively soon. It'll just depend on how quick those radio games are wrapped up, so make sure you go check that out. Also this weekend, Cleveland Guardians, they're in that push for the division to stay in the wild card. You can listen to each game on WOBL as well. And for Corey Lozier, Mike Allison, Mark Munch Bishop, you got an update for me real quick?
1-0 Kansas City in the top of the 9th inning. Bybee and Waka really going at it with the pitchers. So, and I especially want to shout out Corey, shout out Mike on the camera today, but shout out you, man. You're a gas. You're great, and you're a pro's pro.
I want a big thank you to Cliff German and everybody here at Vermilion for having us. I'm Max Drummond. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again from Elyria at Barberton next Friday.